You know what? I'm out of here. I'm done.
I'm just kidding, dude.
And he's
Absolutely
gone.
every
And now he's
fucking
left.
day
And
just get
now he's
shit
gone.
on by all you guys and take care of you left and right.
Okay.
There's
Oh,
no appreciation for
wow.
whatsoever.
Already bringing in the
Start the
Let's
fucking
bring
podcast.
it on.
Start it. We need to talk
Bring
about
it
this.
on,
Start that shit,
motherfucker.
dude.
Let's go.
Yeah, fire me up.
Bring it
Fire
on.
me up.
We haven't
dude.
even started it.
We haven't even started. No, we'll get into it.
I
dude.
am done with this 2 weeks already.
Start the
It's been
fucking
about
podcast.
3 weeks too long.
Matt, you get shit on.
Tell me when, Declan.
You get shit
Yeah.
on the least. All right, in the house.
Matt, we could take it 10 times further than we actually do.
Declan gets shit on the most.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest. And then probably Jack the second. And then you guys always make fun of how well I'm doing with my workouts and my work and everything like that. So you kind of shit on me.
Right. Yeah.
And how good I'm looking and things like that.
Yeah.
So you guys
Your
kinda
peak
shit on me.
performance.
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
just
yeah.
fucking rail.
You
all
fucking
day long.
rail about how I just keep doing stuff and new stuff, and I'm keep really, really good at that stuff. And so I'm probably third. And then
Go ahead.
you're probably last, Matt. You probably get shit on the worst, the least
for
amount.
sure.
Not the worst, the least amount in the house. You disagree?
No.
No, you're probably over Andrew because we give you shit about enough.
Dude, you guys come at me for
We do.
my hairline, my glucose, my lactose
All right.
intolerant.
Yes.
My you guys just keep giving me diseases left and right.
You
And
got
I just,
GERD.
I just
Well-
and I don't know what I have.
All right, that's
so
a
I
good
just
point.
accept all
That's a
of
good
them.
point. You're very sensitive. Okay, maybe you jump me in the ranking.
But no, I appreciate it. I gotta get
Yeah,
get held accountable.
You gotta get held accountable.
Yep.
You can't just have so many sensitivities and not get held accountable about it. Are we live yet?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, okay. I'm glad this
Declan,
got
I was gonna
aired
count
out.
us down, man.
Oh, hey. Actually, hey.
No.
Hey, everyone. Should we play the intro song?
Yeah, play the fucking intro, dude.
Fired up.
Fire me up.
What does it say? Because the last week I've heard that a million fucking times, but I don't know what it says.
We're just ordinary average guys.
No.
Matt
Heron.
10 minutes podcast or whatever.
10-minute podcast.
It's like, some against the
Yeah. 10-minute podcast. That's 10-minute podcast, bro. It's the best podcast of all time.
You absolutely love that one.
I just hear it all day long.
It's the
Well,
best.
you hear it
The
6
reason,
times an
yeah,
hour.
the
'cause
reason
it's on
reason
every
why you hear it is
10
because
minutes.
it's on every 10 minutes. Yeah, the
Right.
podcasts are only 10 minutes long, so you hear it all the time.
Absolutely electric.
It's the best podcast though, hands down.
What's it about?
It's just like my 3 favorite podcasters who used to have a podcast together. It's from like 2014. It's the best. It's all old episodes.
So it's irrelevant.
Well,
It's vintage.
all right. If you don't learn, you don't like to learn from our forefathers, is what I've picked up, and so
That was a joke.
And his father's.
It should be about something very relevant.
it's not. It's complete horseshit the whole time, but it's very funny.
Ooh, hands.
Nice hands.
Put him on
dude.
the hands team.
Oh no, what happened?
Declan.
You put the cords on you put the stool on my cords. Oh no.
You put the cords under my stool.
He goes, oh no.
Declan, what's going on over there?
I didn't mean this to be like a stressful activity for everyone.
Oh,
And
yeah?
And by I didn't mean this wasn't my idea, so I don't know why.
Because you look like you're struggling over there, and it's and it's keeping me from getting settled in and talking.
No, you're good.
Are you done stressing over there?
You good?
Been good for a while now.
All right. Are you looking on the internet? Are you on Amazon? Are you searching or something?
Yeah, I'm buying clothes.
Stop looking at the fucking computer screen. All right.
All right.
You're right, Matt. You've called me out on this. I'm distracted. I figured it out.
Okay. Andrew, go ahead.
Someone give me a countdown.
I just want to make sure from all fronts, from the short-winded comments from Deck, I believe we're all good to go. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Sweet.
All right, we're going to have this conversation now and again in 30 minutes.
Yes.
When you still look like you're fumbling over chords and you're walking around falling over there. Like you've been doing.
It's all right. You know, we don't have our producer Ty here, and we're in shambles when we don't, and that's just the reality. But we're here now. We're here just messing around, having a couple drinks, and it's quarantine time. And it's the 5 roommates rehashing.
Why don't we all introduce ourselves?
Right, because we have different mics and everyone's got different voices. Some people have been on the podcast. Actually, we all have, but some people have had particular podcasts about themselves, and some haven't.
That's true.
Right.
Mostly one.
Well, yeah, just one hasn't.
Right.
But we'll go around little introductions. Start us off, Matt Herron.
All right, so I'm Matt Herron. I'm the most important, voted on from the house as the most important member. And so I do a lot of strength workouts. I'm a good runner. That's about it.
Yeah, what would you say? What would you say like your strongest? Like if you had like a ranking of like 30 skills, what would you say like the number one skill, and like what would you say is like the bottom of the scale? Like when you like say your corporate like your corporate office, say they were to do like a polling and like they did the whole rigmarole, they brought in a consultant and everything. What would you say they would think of you as like the highest strength and then like the weakest?
All right, so what I would say for the highest strength is just doing me.
That's number one.
That's number one.
Jerking off or
Number
what?
one is just doing me, right? And so for my biggest weakness, I think.
Wait, so let's go back to one real quick.
Okay.
You're doing you.
I'm just doing me.
Right. Okay.
And everyone knows
I got
it.
that confirmed now. All right. Keep going.
I'm doing me, and that's my biggest strength. Always doing me. My biggest weakness, and I've heard this from a lot of people in corporate America in the entertainment business. I kind of sometimes I give too much, and I don't take enough for myself, right? And so that's an issue that I need to deal with, right? Sometimes I'm too worried about other people, and I give too much, and I don't take enough for myself.
Well done. Well, that's Matt Herron. He's a giver. He's an absolute giver, and he does him.
And I'm humble.
He's very humble.
Yes.
Well done. All right, Jack Burke, what do we got, brother?
I was really hoping I'd be able to give us an introduction, but
Well, you can do it now, dude.
Absolutely.
Do it
The
now.
time
it's
is
gonna be
yours.
like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here we are live, coming to you live.
That was it. You said live twice.
That was it, dude. You're live, bro.
You already went back to live?
I don't know. I'm Jack. I've been on this podcast like I don't know how many times, Andrew.
9, 10,
7 or 8.
20,
Yeah.
21.
Each time I'm like, oh, why the hell did I do that? I feel like every time I come on this podcast, I just make myself sound worse and worse.
It's been a while since the last time you've been on the show.
Yeah, you guys kind of kicked me off for a while. You finally figured out how first ever podcast, I was like, I'm the most average person ever. And then you guys finally realized that after like 9 times. It's like, this guy has nothing valuable to say.
Well, they gave you 9 times. I mean,
Yeah, no, I had plenty of chances. What was your question?
Maybe a little introductory for the people.
Oh,
I mean,
no,
you've been on
introduction.
9 times, and we love your voice. I mean, when the people hear the Jack Burke voice, they're rallying up. It's a voice for the people.
Oh yeah, I could go places with it if I really wanted to, and I hope there's someone listening right now that might need me. Anyways, Jack Burke. Some may call me the 5th roommate. Bedroom, right out of frame over there. Lose a lot of sleep over this podcast. Not because it stresses me out, but because it literally keeps me up at night. Just a good like 3 or 4.
Okay. So enough to be memorable.
Yeah, no, I can remember. Mark Amick and Austin Yoakum definitely kept me up one night.
Yes. That was a late night one.
Thank God I know them both, B, like them both. If I didn't, there'd be hell to raise.
He would have raised hell. And I've seen it.
Yeah, I would just say pretty normal, average, fun loving guy.
Fuck yeah, Jack.
That sounds like Kawhi Leonard. I'm a fun guy.
I'm a fun guy. I'm a real fun guy.
A real fun guy.
Jack, when you turn left, make sure you grab the mic and bring it with you. You're gonna go in and out when you veer away from the.
I was trying to point the viewers who obviously can't see my room to my room.
Just out of frame. It's straight across the hall from our old studio is right across the hall, so he really hurt us. Now we're down
No, it's
the hall.
louder now.
No, come on, we're down the hall.
Yeah, but there's a shared wall
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
made out of
All right.
1940s newspaper as
Very
insulation.
valid.
So
And a dandelion
And a dandelion.
Yeah, Jack, how bummed are you that we put up that whiteboard
I'm
here
pretty
in the
bummed.
studio?
No, in all honesty, like, I thought that wall was the coolest part of our studio. When my grandparents came to visit fall of 2017, like, I was so excited to show my grandpa, like, and I did show him. And I showed anyone that has ever come to our house. Like, we have a newspaper that literally says Allies forced back by Nazis, and it's before the United States entered into World War II. And it's like the coolest thing ever. And then you guys just put a whiteboard over it.
And there's only ever one thing written on the whiteboard.
No. There's usually more than one thing. Right now, we have one thing. And what does that one thing read?
Jack Baby the influencer.
Right, and that is our boy right here speaking to us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm an influencer, so follow me.
On what?
Can we circle back real quick? Junior, our good friend Matt Burbach, suggested we do an Instagram page for you. Would you like to confirm or deny your own Instagram page?
There's rumors surrounding it.
Influencer.
He definitely suggested it, yeah.
Right, and where do you lie in this conversation?
I confirm that he suggested it.
Gotcha. Right.
Really?
On.
So the rumors are confirmed.
And I'm totally off of social media, so you could do whatever, and I wouldn't know anything about it. So
Okay. Well, that is Jack Baby the influencer. Now for the third mic here, Matty C. We'd love to hear your introduction.
Well, I'm Matty C. Taurus. Love short walks on the beach.
Call yourself a Taurus right away.
Yeah.
what's a Taurus?
Yeah, what is a Taurus?
Like a Ford Taurus?
Yeah.
Nice.
The OG Ford Taurus.
Nice.
The only original roommate from episode 1
That's true.
outside of your co-hosts in the house. So
Yeah.
been here since day 1.
Right.
Still here.
It was
Gonna be here for a while.
He's actually, for the people that don't know, Matty C is our scout director. He goes out and looks for new locations whenever we're ready to expand and maybe explore more space for the back pocket. And we send him out. He does recon. He does it phenomenally well. I mean, he is out and about throughout all of the Twin Cities, coming back with a lot of reports. And he originally grabbed the mansion where we hosted the washing den, and now we're here in the war room. And courtesy of Matt Christensen's work, laying the foundation,
The groundwork.
Laying brickwork. It's important.
He's a worker.
Foundation.
He's kind of our real estate agent, would you?
Yeah. We got real estate. Can we circle back to our insurance guy? We forgot that. Jack Burke, insurance guy.
Yeah. That title was given to me by Chad Greenway.
Yes,
That's right.
Chad Greenway, insurance guy.
Yeah, I had a meeting downtown, so I worked from home in the morning, and I was like wearing a suit, and Chad Greenway comes in here. He's literally the insurance guy. Look at that.
He's just sitting here in the war room before work, working on his laptop, like prepping for work. And Chad Greenway walks in, and we introduce Jack as the insurance guy, and Chad goes, "Oh, he is the insurance guy."
Beautiful.
That was electric.
All right. Well, why don't you give yourself a little introduction, Andy?
Right.
Yeah, let's hear about you.
Yeah, I'm your average Andy. Find me on Twitter as average Andy. And not a lot going on in my life. Just your 160 pound, 5'10", just under 540 yard dash human here. Not getting his workouts in lately. I've been very lazy.
Well,
Alter sent me an email today saying, "Hey, you need to get back. You need to get your ass in shape." And I was like, "All right, you're right."
I love the accountability. Can I just point that out right now?
Right.
I love it.
Thank you.
Onward.
And I'm prepared to, set my trajectory in the right direction after this conversation with the roommates who are going to hold me accountable and push me in new realms.
Like we do.
Right, like you do. Exactly. Decky?
Bill Cheeseman.
Do I get my own intro?
Yeah. What's up, dude? That's
follow suit, buddy. We've had 4 people do the exact same
Wait,
thing.
we're doing
actually, forget about him.
We're doing intros. Let me hit you with a real hard-hitting question. What's up, dude?
I've been dealing with a lot over here. Been trying to manage a bunch of different cords and wires, and I didn't realize how much it takes to actually produce this thing. Ty, great work, man. We're killing it.
Well done.
But we are live. We are here. We are absolutely crushing it. And I guess I'll reintroduce myself on my own podcast. Is that really what we're doing right now?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
give us a brief introduction of Decky Brown,
Maybe explain why you're wearing fake glasses right now.
and explain to us why you're just looking the way you do.
Yeah. You've been wearing those pants for 10 days straight. I have to be completely honest with you, and I have to be completely honest with your audience right now. Declan Brown has been wearing the same shorts. Please get on camera. He's been wearing the same shorts for 10 days.
It's
10
quarantine season.
It's
Give him a
quarantine
break.
season.
And let's
He's wearing
Work it.
He's wearing fake glasses.
Don't pull it tight.
and don't pull it that tight.
Right,
We
he
don't want
has
camel
not worn
toe.
underwear this whole time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, wait, I
well,
was wrong.
that's going on the internet. So, but he's been wearing those pants for 10 days straight, and he's been wearing fake glasses for a while now. And I feel like the world should know.
Right, and for the visual representation, they got that, and now the audio representation, Matt, you did a tremendous job. But just showing us who Deck is.
Beautiful.
Well,
So what's up, dude?
So back to the hard-hitting question. What's up?
I'm living the dream over here, man. Just enjoying a nice G&T. Just now figuring out how to produce this podcast. You guys are looking beautiful.
Dude, I've done it like 10 times. You could have just asked me.
I know. I just wanted to be.
You just push the play button and move the camera. It's pretty easy.
No, it got a lot more intense.
It seems like you're panicking over there.
I don't believe you.
We're live streaming now, but the best part is I now know how to do it. But I'm glad we have someone hired.
I feel so bad for anyone listening to this.
And why is that, Jack?
We haven't talked about anything.
That's kind of what we do all the time, though.
Yeah, I know. But someone is interested enough. They're bored enough to listen to us talk about nothing.
It's quarantine season. What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, you're devaluing your actual contribution, dude. There's been things that have been said that are entertaining and value worth.
Yes.
And I'm glad that I all have you here today to, talk about our interactions over the last, I think we've been in quarantine for 12, 13 days.
10, probably 10 days.
Okay, I'm shooting high. It feels longer.
I don't know.
I don't.
I lost count.
The insurance guys lost count. We're falling off the rails.
When the insurance guy loses
2
count, we're
work
all
weeks.
fucked.
2 work weeks.
Yeah.
As of today.
Right. So that's 12 days.
That
Could
would
be.
be 10 days.
You
2
got
work
the week-
weeks.
you got
So
the
5
weekends
day
though
work
too.
week.
Weekends too.
Matt Heron's got his glasses on.
I don't give a shit anymore.
Feeling fast? Feeling
Jack,
fierce?
do you want to go ahead and reintroduce ourselves now that we got ourselves kind of warmed up?
No.
5,
I'd rather
4,
not do that.
3, 2, 1, and here we are coming at you live from the War Room in the Backpocket Podcast Roommate Special.
Pretty good.
Dude, you deliver.
Pretty good.
That was really good.
Carl Malone, brother.
That was really, really
All right.
good.
Do we want to talk about some COVID issues? Because you can't really skirt around the COVID issues these days.
We
Right.
named our whole podcast after COVID now.
Yeah.
Like this podcast is now titled and dedicated to COVID.
Yes. So would you guys like to go around and let's just talk a little bit about how the quarantine's been going for us? Because I feel like we've had a different experience than the majority of people because of the fact that we live with 5 people.
Yeah, we also.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna say anything. Never mind.
Jack, do you know this is a podcast? Like you should say this.
No.
It's your one job.
Don't incriminate yourself is rule number 1 in every situation.
All right, but nothing's been against the law. I'm going to be honest with
We
the
just haven't done the best job quarantining. I'll say.
but okay. We've tried really hard and we failed on most accounts in the quarantine. We typically have 3 to 4 people over during the day sporadically, and that's an issue. How are we going to address it, guys?
Hire a bouncer.
Everyone just look at Matt.
Matt,
We need a bouncer. Get Steve over here.
well,
Steve or BT?
Steve died from COVID-19, and I thought that we should probably say that to the audience.
I gotta pee.
Steve did not die.
Steve Harrell died from COVID-19. Could you confirm that? Jamie, could you check that?
1 second.
Could you check if Steve Harrell died from
We
COVID-19
gotta
yet?
down to has the person named Steve died.
Please check Steve Harrell's health on Google for me, quick, because we haven't heard from him for a while now, a few days.
Steve has been missing.
and I feel like he might have died from it if I heard correctly. So
Yeah, Steve's our long lost friend. He's original producer of the podcast, and since then he's really gone off the deep end, and now we're really concerned about him.
yeah,
But
he went and got a girlfriend. Shout out to
front line,
she's the best. We love her,
and she's on the front line.
and I feel so bad for her in this time because of Steve's
Right.
Steve's death. So
Well, he's still alive, but we love him.
Steve is still alive? Okay, good to hear.
Are you referring to like maybe the friendship you have with Steve?
No. All right.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just checking because like I wasn't sure, and just seemed kind of odd to me. But you seem like you got your head on straight. Like everything's looking good in your court.
Yeah.
Congrats, man.
What have been because Declan, you're not even really in quarantine these days. I've been curious because your experience is much different than the rest of our experience.
Right. Declan's been on site for
Yes.
this whole quarantine for
Yep.
his work. Like, he has to do work at the airport.
Yeah.
And that's shocking because I'm afraid he's bringing, Corona back to us.
Or Ebola, one of the two, for sure.
And, I'm not squaring up on Ebola.
Maybe we'll square up on Corona,
I'm not going there, but
I'll take Corona.
I'm not taking...
but I ain't taking Ebola.
Ebola's definitely making a comeback, and I feel like it's probably...
We haven't done enough talking.
We
about
haven't done
Ebola.
enough talking about Ebola. It's definitely around still. It went away really quickly. But Decky, we've had... Because we've all been working as a house from home, obviously, as I'm sure most of you have that's listening to this. The four of us, Andrew, Matt, Jack, and I have been working from home, but Declan has been going in every day. So he's had a very different experience. Deck, do you really even feel like you're in quarantine these days?
Yeah, I definitely don't feel like I'm in quarantine. It's definitely been an interesting experience. The interesting thing about all of it, though, is like I just become so much more thankful now. Like I'm just actually stoked that I'm going to work, and not to say that I didn't like my work before, but like I go walk outside when it's 50 degrees for the first time, like dude, thank God. Like I'm just kind of living my normal life, but at the same time, like kind of recognizing like really what's going on here, and it's just fascinating, honestly. And again, you had already alluded to like having 4 other guys to live with in this house that I'm like genuinely good friends with. Like honestly, it's been so fun. Honestly, it's been incredible. So I'm living the dream over here, fellas. But to your point, it is weird seeing all the different like. I kind of talked about it yesterday, like the lines that are drawn.
Right.
In terms of like a joke, like you can't make a joke about like.
You can't make a COVID joke. Jack, you brought up this point earlier. You want to elaborate?
It's too soon.
Why?
Yeah,
Well, it's not
what's too soon?
You definitely can make a joke. Like you can do whatever you want, but I feel like we're too soon in the process to know how big of an impact this is going to have on each of our individual lives. So I was just saying, like, personally, I don't want to joke about it quite yet because, like, I don't want to joke about it and then someone I know ends up dying from it, or I end up getting fired because of it, or I don't know, any random example you can think of. I think everyone's going to be impacted. Well, everyone has been impacted in some way or another. And fortunately for us 5, so far, it really hasn't made a huge difference in each of our lives.
Well, we were kind of talking earlier today, like the age range of 23, you're kind of skating by with some reason you should feel guilty, but in reality, like 23 is the best age range, 23, 24, like recent graduates are in the best spot because no family, no kids, no weddings or anything coming into play.
Already have jobs.
School's done.
School's done. Right? The people they're going for internships and stuff, like new hires, that is coming to a complete halt. So, and then like, not to mention the second semester seniors don't have graduation ceremonies anymore. As much as that sucks, there's just like the idea of that being canceled is miserable.
Yeah. And I would say for like most of us, like the best time had as a group was the post-graduation celebration. Like, you're done. You have no F's to give. Like, celebrate. All the families were together, and all of our families get along really well. So, like, for us, like, for other people to not have that opportunity, absolutely sucks.
Especially that last semester, everyone, when all your friends have jobs already, you really don't give a shit. Like, whatever you do in that last semester doesn't matter unless you just gotta slide by.
It's a glorified free-for-all, pretty much.
Right, and that gets kind of taken away. So I definitely feel for that. Like, we're already old as shit, so we don't really feel the biggest impact of it. Like,
But
we've
we're
been
not
working
old at all, right?
We're not old at all.
Yeah.
But also, we also are established in whatever we're doing. So
we're not getting fired because we've been in our jobs now for 2 years.
Yes. So you have the safety of that mixed with the fact that the health aspect of you're not in immediate danger personally.
It's crazy, right?
Well, I'm just saying,
So we should-
something could happen and no one you never know what's going to happen.
No, you don't.
But also, I feel like we should admit this, that I'm actually immune to the COVID.
And you let us know that pretty early on.
And I let the people in my life know about it early on. And
Is there a way to become immune to COVID?
Not for you, right? So, it's not a thing I like to talk about a lot. It's kind of a personal thing. It's just one of those things that you don't really, you're not going to break it out in first conversations with people. But yeah, I'm just going to say it to the world now. I am immune to COVID. And it's really just based off a hunch, It's not based off any sort of science, but I just kind of have this feeling, and I've always been a person that goes with my gut, that I feel like if I were to be exposed to it, that there's something in me that's immune to it, and I feel like my blood could possibly be used for some sort of medicine in the future. I'm not gonna spill all of those details right now, but there could be some things to come that have to do with my blood.
Of course.
And again,
you do what you do.
it's based off a hunch,
Right.
but it's a good hunch.
You do dude.
I feel like I'm immune to COVID, and it's kind of it's a blessing and it's a curse, right? Because I don't get to share in everyone's. It's like you see communities coming together in this sort of
Time of strife.
Yes, in this communal anxiety about what's gonna happen.
The lack of predictability.
And I'm cursed with this knowledge that nothing is going to happen, right? So I have this curse that, yes, I know how this is kind of all going to end up for me personally. But so I don't necessarily get to share in all of the experiences that everyone is feeling and everyone gets to go through and tell their kids about, because I just have to tell my kids I was never in any danger, which is...
I think we all feel that way.
Which is an
honestly.
issue.
Which is the scary, to me, that's the scary part. We all feel, it's just like, yeah, whatever. I don't know if I speak for everyone or not, but I think, you were saying that jokingly, but it's just yeah, coronavirus is going on.
Yeah.
Practice social distancing.
Well, none of us are scared about getting it ourselves. It's the matter of passing it along to someone else that could be impacted. Negatively, I guess. So whether it be the elderly population, the more susceptible to immune diseases, anything like that, that's more of where our frustration or worry comes from, is giving it to somebody else, because we may not show symptoms for a couple weeks at a time.
Right, and you're still at this point in time, like we mentioned, day 12 of quarantine. We're still operating as if we're a WeWork for General Mills. Is that correct? Can you confirm or deny that?
Confirmed.
Right. We are housing all General Mill employees if they'd like to come over and work. And our nice, we have a living arrangement on our first floor where you could stay 6 feet away in practice social distancing. We have plenty of sanitation zones, but we also operate as a WeWork, and Maddie C will be leading that operation.
And
Yep.
if you want to watch New Girl, it's on.
It's
all
on.
the time.
Yeah, all the time in our basement.
You guys are live streaming New Girl at our house for any.
If you're General Mills boy and you want to watch New Girl,
Come on over.
and you haven't heard about our house yet,
You're doing something wrong.
yeah, you're missing out because it's happening.
It's a big deal. Jack, that was a terrible pitch, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know.
Hey, you're making
It's
a pitch,
happening.
It's happening,
It's happening. Jack Burke here and New Girl.
New Girl, General Mills, it's happening.
You know, I'm the biggest thing I'm a little bit curious about is how I'm gonna feel about you guys in the next coming weeks here, cause like I've been, we've lived together coming up on 2 years now. I'm kind of getting, it's not like we don't have that NRE, right? That we don't have any more new relationship energy, right? We're not in the honeymoon phase. We're in the fucking grind it out. I know who this person is, and I have to fucking deal with Declan, right? We're in that phase, right? Right? We're in that phase where we know who Declan is, and now we have to just accept him for who he is. And so we're all and now put on to the added stress of having to see him more is going to be really difficult for all of us moving forward, right?
We don't have to see him more, though.
That's a good point.
But like we still have to operate as if, Declan, we have to, give him the fine line of discipline and encouragement.
Yes.
And that's what it really boils down to. And I worry sometimes that we offer too much encouragement.
Yes.
He needs more discipline.
Are you guys being real? What the hell?
It's like, you notice I was just going to talk and then I went to go get the thing. That's pretty shitty of me, huh?
You were about to deliver. I felt
Hey,
it.
give me
I was
the thing.
about to deliver and then one sec.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, let me get a sound check.
Sorry, podcasters.
Sorry, podcasters.
We're getting drunk here because that's what you do when you're in quarantine,
Turn
right?
the mic around just a little bit so that it's.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
See, that's the thing you do when you're quarantined. You get drunk. But going back to the original question, let me sit cross-legged like a chimpanzee.
Straight live.
Right here, I'll join you.
Yeah, please. So the issue that we've had, and I'd like to bring this up to the public because this has since now been private in our lives, and I'd like to just, let's break the internet with it. We're training Declan currently. We're in the midst of training Declan, and it's not been going super great. And the issue we're having is the battle between encouragement and discipline, right? So when he leaves the oven on, right? When he leaves the oven on.
For the 6th or 7th time.
For the 6th or 7th time.
In the last month.
In the last month, right? So like what do you do when he simply can't understand the fact that the oven needs to be turned off after you use it, right? So that's an issue.
Like we rub his belly, we pat his back,
Yes.
we tell him he's a good kid.
He's a good boy.
He's
He's
a
a
good-
very good boy.
You're a good boy.
Yeah.
But when the oven's left on for the 6th or 7th time in the last month, it's time to realize that we need to sit down and incorporate a little more discipline.
Yes. Yeah. It's like when you go to parent-teacher conferences and you realize that the kid you've been just encouraging your whole life is kind of doesn't know how to color in between the lines.
Right.
And we're in 8th grade now,
Does
which
that
is
hit
an
home,
issue.
or is it like a?
What?
Does that hit home with you? Like
It hit
your parents, you. What's the relation there? Like, very specific example. Is that
Yes.
something that you've experienced yourself? Is that more of Mick? Where's the line there?
The line there is that I actually raised myself, right? So we know that, and the audience knows that, right? So I was, I don't want to
You're
get into
self-raised.
I don't want to get into too many details of it, but
We'll keep it short-winded.
yeah, you can read my autobiography.
I think
but
it's in your
back to
Instagram bio,
Declan.
right?
It's in my Instagram bio, the entire thing, and in my Tinder profile. So just keep swiping, and you'll find it. So just keep.
Hey,
But-
can I call a timeout?
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
How do you
What's up,
listen to this podcast live?
It's not live currently.
YouTube, isn't it?
It's on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
YouTube, Instagram.
Yeah, we only have one person streaming on YouTube. We were actually on
Who's
TikTok.
the sorry motherfucker who's listening?
It's
to this?
at
you keep
Declan
selling
Brown.
us so short, dude.
Yeah, you keep selling us incredibly short. But we sound great.
Yeah, I think the audio is really good. Oh man, Jack, good pause, dude. That was a good interruption. You know, well worth it.
Andy, you're so like trying not to be pissed, but you're totally pissed.
Do you think I'm pissed right now? Exaggerate or elaborate. That's the word, brother.
Or exaggerate it. Let's
Detail the story
No.
in your direction.
You're gonna tell a story, exaggerate it. Go ahead.
Continue to exaggerate. Go ahead.
Exaggerate it. Anything that Andrew's done, please turn it up to
10 on
to
the
10.
Turn his
exaggeration.
snare up. Turn his snare up.
Yeah.
yeah.
Turn my fault.
Turn his snare up in his headphones.
Snare drum.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, as a house,
Yeah, as a house.
we've been thriving in quarantine.
Yeah, I mean,
up to
we,
this point.
we just
think
recently
we're doing
signed
well.
our lease to extend for a third year.
A third year.
So doing that prior to this settlement of Corona, we really were like, all right, we're in it for another year. We got to have at least a mindset of, getting along with each other. Because you're right, Matt Herron. We have surpassed the honeymoon stage.
Yes.
Oh, so quickly.
Yeah.
We are in the, I know you way too well. I see you shit. I see you operate.
Mm-hmm.
I know your thoughts.
I see you shit.
Yeah.
I know whether you shit sitting down or standing up, front to back or back to front. I know how it goes.
I know if you go bidet white bidet, just white. I
Just
know
wipe.
you.
Or do you go bidet to shower? We don't. We know those things.
We know those
We
things.
keep tracks on those things. We keep tabs.
I mean, we've been doing it for 2 years now.
yeah.
I didn't use the bidet before quarantine.
Well, that's been an issue that we were trying to bring up to you.
Right.
I also never pooped here before quarantine.
Yes.
That's also an
Because
issue.
You
I
poop like a
literally
cheetah, dude.
clog the toilet every time I poop.
Well,
It's such a weird
Matt,
flex, but it's
yes. Thank you.
what'd you bring up here? Matt brought snacks, everyone.
true. There we go, Matt.
Jack Scotcheroos.
If you do grab some of that, just don't chew into the mic. Push the mic far away.
I gotta go to the bathroom real quick, so one person talk for the time that I'm there.
Yeah, go ahead, dude. You haven't really been contributing in general, but go ahead.
I don't know what's so tough over there, but
Yeah. we all can come to a conclusion that Deck has not put forth any work.
All right, Deck, here's what's going to happen. You're going to go to the bathroom, and we're just going to kind of talk about the things that you do that bugs us, okay?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Anyway.
Anyhow.
你好.
你好，我喜欢的乒乓球。
Can we all talk about Jack Burke meeting Mike Ditka and how he introduced himself?
I didn't hear this story.
Coach Mike
Oh.
Ditka of the
didn't
Chicago
tell you that.
Bears.
No.
Earlier tonight.
Wait, what?
Circa,
Pull the mic a little closer.
I don't know, 2010?
I'm saying 2005 to like 2008.
2005, how old were we in 2005?
You were 9.
9. Let's go 2008.
Yeah, it was closer to 2008.
Right around the Great Fall.
2009, we were what?
We were about 12.
Like, it was Great Recession era, for
I
sure.
don't know if that math checks out, but
13? I
90,
don't know,
96
dude. You tell me.
I think in terms of grade, I don't know if anyone can relate to me on this. I think in terms of grade,
Right. You,
As
what
opposed to,
grade were
like-
you in, brother?
I was like around 7th or 8th grade. It was middle school.
You were a
time.
middle schooler. All right. Jack Burke, the middle schooler.
Yeah. Kicking and Screaming, the movie was 2 or 3 years old. What am I doing wrong? Just-
pass the Scotcheroos.
Oh, okay.
Just like eat it away from your mouth.
And there's, if
Me
anyone's
on
not
camera.
familiar, Mike Ditka is in the movie Kicking and Screaming. It's a great movie. Go watch it. And there's a famous line in the movie where there's two lesbian moms who they mother the child of, or the child is being coached by Mike Ditka in grade school soccer. And what are you doing over there?
he's just taking some snaps of the podcast, dude. Continue your story.
And so, like, Mike Ditka's their child's coach, and there's a scene in the movie where they see him out and about, and they go get his autograph. And their child's name is Byeong-sung.
And that's part of Talladega. It's part of Kicking and Screaming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they go and get his autograph because they're too nervous to do it normally, like during a soccer game. And so they get his autograph, and they were like, "Oh, we're Byeong-sung's moms." And when I met Mike Ditka, like within 3 years of the movie airing, I said jokingly to Mike Ditka, I was like, "Oh, make that out to Byeong-sung, please." And he just had no idea what I was talking about. Like, he was like, "What? What's your name?" I was like, Jack.
And that was it.
And that's the story.
You went from Byeong-sung.
And now I have a picture with Mike Ditka flipping me off in my childhood bedroom, saying, "Jack, you're number one."
Beautiful.
And that's the story.
Your number.
Now I'm gonna eat this.
What?
All right. Well, Dak, how'd your pee go, dude?
Good, man. It's real good. It's great, actually.
Was it one of those peas that made you shiver?
No, it didn't make me shiver.
Dak, can we talk about when you're gonna put on a different pair of pants? Because the whole I feel like the whole audience has been wondering, right? They've been wondering for a few days now, right? You've done some TikToks. We've all seen them. Everyone's seen them. When are you gonna? The fans are asking you, when are you gonna put on a new pair of pants?
Dude, these are literally my weekend pants. Like, I wear them pretty consistently on the weekends, and that's the only times you see me. I've washed them multiple times. It's not that big of a deal.
I feel like it is a bigger
Very
deal.
much sanitary things to wear, and you're hyperbolizing, should I say, my pants. And I just don't know if
Hey, Declan, can you give me the definition of hyperbolizing? I don't know it.
over-exaggerating.
Okay, thank you.
That's a pretty good definition. But do you not have any other pair of pants?
And do you not want to look presentable?
Yeah. And why those pants in replacement of any of the other shorts that you own in your life? I'd like to know your thought process behind it, because it seems like wearing the same pants
in those exact pants
every single day, but then washing them multiple times. And good for you for washing them multiple times, but doesn't it seem like an easier thing to just wear a different pair of pants?
Yeah. Now that you say it, yeah, a little bit.
All right, so
But it's just like I'm not a by no means am I a guy that's like keeping his room clean. So when I come in, the first thing on the ground are the pants that I wore yesterday, which are usually these Thailand pants. Which, by the way, why do I wear them? You asked that earlier.
yeah,
They're so very comfortable.
okay.
Very comfortable.
They're not more comfortable than any other shorts, though, right? And you know that, though, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you've just admitted to the fact that you wear the same pants multiple days in a row because you see them on your floor, and that doesn't seem like an issue to you?
No, not really. I think it's not the biggest deal in the world, because it's like I'm wearing them 3 times a week.
3 times a week? And you don't think that that's an issue? 3 times a week. You just said that as an explanation to why you're not disgusting, and it came off the exact opposite to me.
And I wash them?
I guess.
That's totally fine.
All right.
In my books.
All right, we can get off your pants if you want to. We can definitely get off your pants. But I just thought that the audience should know who they're listening to.
Right.
Right, which is a guy who what?
Below the Zoom chat, I'm wearing either sweat shorts or these pants I got for $3 in Thailand.
In Thailand. And it's not either or, it's one or the other. It's the Thailand pants, and it's every single day.
Right.
Without underwear.
Yep.
And I just like everyone to know that.
Wait. No, I have underwear.
Okay. Well,
Every time.
you don't. Anywho.
Where'd the Scotch Roos go?
I have them. You want one?
Yeah.
I have him.
He's hoarding them
He's got him
on his
phone.
pants.
All right.
Oh no. Oh no. Jack, I got a piece for you.
There's about to be so much Corona on this. My family asked me, how do we watch the podcast?
How do we watch it?
I said YouTube.
YouTube.
So now what, guys?
You've said that a lot.
And we take a quick breathing
Last
break.
couple days.
I have said that a lot.
Jack, what has been your favorite thing to do to fill your?
I haven't done anything new, so
What has been your favorite thing to do to kill time or to use your time that's not necessarily for work since you've been at home?
I literally haven't, like, any leisurely activity that I've done hasn't been something I didn't do before. You know what I mean?
What were you doing before though? Like what activities were you
Is there anything-
leisurely doing pre?
That you've been doing more.
I have like 5 daily goals that I try to get done every day. I don't know if it's 5. It's around 5. I try to pray every day. I try to exercise every day. I try to play guitar every day. And I try to read every day. 4. So that's pretty much, I guess, outside of that, I've been going for walks, which is something I didn't do, but could also be counted as exercise. So, I don't know. And then we watched The Outsider. So those 2 things are the only new thing in the last 2 weeks.
Yo, don't sell yourself
And-
short, dude. That's a good amount of things, man.
And
I'm not selling myself short. I'm just saying I'm answering a question.
It's not an aspect of what you're doing new. It's a difference in how much of those different things that you wanted to get done every day you're doing each day. So like that's what I'm finding in my life, right? Like I work in Woodbury. So I drive a minimum of, 40 minutes a day. So what I find is that when if I roll out of bed at 7 o'clock, 7:30, I'm working by, 10 minutes later, as opposed to getting ready, getting dressed, eating breakfast, and then driving to work and getting there at 8 o'clock and feeling like I've already been awake for an hour and a half. Like I'm working more without doing more, right? When I'm quarantined, there's less of like just the intermediate interactions in my life, right? Where I'm just like going and picking up shit, or I'm going and driving, or I'm going and getting dressed for a specific occasion, or I'm, wetting my hair down or whatever.
You're cutting out some bullshit.
I'm cutting out a lot of bullshit. I can roll over out of bed, take a 10-minute shower, and be in my office, quote unquote, 10 minutes later. And then I can work for the same amount of time that I typically work. And then, but, even when I'm at work, so like I can only work for, if I'm sitting at my desk and I'm grinding through work, every 2 hours maybe, I have to stand up and go do, I got to walk and go do something different.
Stay active.
Right. So if I don't have a meeting, I'll go and I'll walk the floor. I'll just talk some bullshit with some technicians, or I'll find a PM and we'll just talk about whatever. Or I'll go up to another machine. I'll ask another engineer about his machine, about different aspects of the machine, just because I don't want to sit for 3 hours in a row doing one specific task. So now, that aspect, which I like that aspect of my work, so I'm losing that part. That's just filled with the minutia of maintaining my daily existence, like laundry, or whatever. or making my bed or folding my laundry. So all those things were like
Maintenance stuff.
So like I typically I get home after I work out after work. I usually get home at 8:00. That's only a thing that I can only do one load of, like, I have to plan my day around what day I want to do laundry typically. I got to be like, oh, I got to be home at this time so I can get my laundry done. That sort of thing is completely out of my life now. It's just like whenever I need to do laundry, laundry's done.
Even like
Yeah,
to the sense of like
laundry's-
cooking food.
Cooking
Laundry is
food.
the best part about working from home, for sure.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I despise laundry.
Well, you're also not going through as many clothes.
Yeah.
If you're
Going
looking at
back to
tech.
making fun of
Especially if
Declan
you're
for
Declan
wearing the
Brown.
same clothes, I've worn the same clothes. I've done the same thing he's doing. Just because it's like,
Now
I have nowhere to be, I'm going to put the same clothes on.
Exactly.
No one to impress. Not that I care about impressing people anyways, but normally I try to look nice at work, and I'll wear, like, I've
Yeah.
literally wore the same thing every day this week.
Yeah.
But it's awesome because I can just, I want to take a break from work, I'll go do laundry.
There's also an interesting aspect about what's going on with corporate America right now, where there's so many more jobs that can be done remotely than have ever been like considered. Like even my job, I'm an engineer. I can do, there's probably 20 to 25% of my job that I do a little bit less efficiently when I'm at home. I'm looking at I work in automation. There's machines that I can go look at that I could do a little more efficiently when I'm in. But the majority of my job I can do remotely, or just doing it with calls and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of people are running into the fact that they can do their job remotely where they're being demanded to come in from a 9 to 5
Totally.
every single week.
And it's probably scares corporate America because they're realizing like all these employees can operate at home, and now they have all this rented space or they own the property, and they're like, why do I actually need this?
Right.
Why do we need to keep building up? It's ridiculous.
From day one of my job, I questioned. I was like, half of my team is never here. Why am I here? You know what I mean? Which I guess it made sense. And, you want to build rapport with people and you want to get in and make yourself known and
Camaraderie,
yes,
building for a common cause.
which totally, and I think everyone is missing that right now. Everyone across the corporate world is missing their friendships with their colleagues. However, corporate America, all they're concerned about is the bottom line. And coming out of this, I would say more people than not are going to be working from home, remote workers.
Yeah.
Or you'll start seeing it evolving to that state, right?
Yeah.
No,
Like,
it's
part-time,
we're already capable of it. It's just no one is doing it. Not no one, but most companies aren't doing it yet.
Like I even talked to my dad earlier today. My dad's an account manager. He works in sales, technical sales.
Turn your mic just a little bit.
He works in technical sales, and he was he was telling me today. He was like, even if everything goes back 100% to normal, for me, I don't feel like I might never go back to an office. He has an office in a specific building, but he's an account manager, so he's always traveling between. He doesn't have any allegiance to any division or any specific location. And he told me, he goes, when you actually put an office in a specific location, then you tend to favor that location if you're working, because it's just
you kind of you build a bias, if you will.
yes, you build a bias, and just because you're seeing, even if you have your projects split up completely evenly between 5 different facilities, if you're at a specific facility, then you're just going to be automatically biased towards that. So he was saying to me, he's reaching the point of retirement, but he was like, and he's a lot higher in his profession than I am, obviously, and he was like, I might never go back to work. I'm working better now that I've been forced to work remote, right? So it wasn't that he was like, oh, I think I can do my job better remote. I'm gonna try doing that. No, he got forced to doing what he does every day remotely, and now he's learning that that's actually a better outcome for his actual role in the job. Where he's playing outside to me, I don't think I'll ever go back.
Right.
I'll never go back to an office, to a desk in a specific building. I do what I do at home. I'll travel where I have to go when I have to travel.
Mm-hmm.
He can't do that now, but there's no reason for him to not be working at home regularly.
I think this is going to bring a lot of changes as far as that goes.
That's what I'm most excited about is the after effects of all of this, because the system has been put into it's been cracked. You can see flaws in the system, but you can also see how there's been flourishes in the way we can communicate and actually implement things and rules and regulations. But at the same time, the structure of what we were doing, that's cracked. And I'm so interested to see. We are literally in the year of we will see the changes from this to the lifetime change of this event. And I think that is the coolest thing.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was and still am most excited about of the coronavirus is the businesses that are going to come out of this. Because every bad thing that happens in the world, a business always thrives from it.
From the extreme of a negative
or an industry.
Yes. From the extreme of a negative comes an extreme of a positive. And we'll see what that is. Will the healthcare system become more efficient? You are already seeing telehealth being implemented in certain industry and in certain organizations right now, which is cool to see.
What were you gonna say, Matt?
I was gonna say we will joke about people journaling or doing video vlogs and all that, but is there anything of value right now to commemorate and to remember the time that we're in now? Because growing up in civics or whatever you do for history, in middle school, high school, college, you always hear about these different events. I probably won't ever really be in that situation, so I don't have to worry about it. We're living it now, and we may joke about people journaling or doing vlogs or whatever, but is there value, and do you guys see yourself trying to do something that allows you to look back at the memories that you're having while in this time of change?
Totally. I think so.
And I think just take it a step further, people are looking at the capturing of content, what's going on right now. If you want to call it content, whatever you want to fucking call it, doesn't matter. But the actual idea of capturing the now is what people are seeking to see. Not many people are going back to look at what they saw happen years ago, but people are looking to capture what's going on now. So it's really interesting to see that from a consumer standpoint and people putting that out there and wanting to show what's going on in their day to day. And that's what we all have the opportunity to contribute.
Going back to the whiteboard thing. It's not just a matter of boredom. The reason I like to read that stuff, that I'm making myself sound like an idiot, but I'm not only mad at you guys for putting that whiteboard up because I like to read that stuff out of curiosity. I'm mad because that's literal history you just covered up and just thought nothing of, and it's that's freaking awesome. That's a real piece of history that I can just go back and get whenever I want. You know what I want? You know what I mean?
But
and that's what you're alluding to. I think journaling or podcasting or whatever it might be, a long time from now is not interesting as it might be to us. I think someone is going to be very interested in what's going on today.
Right, even you see the headline, Allies forced back by Nazis on those newspapers over there, and it's that the documentary of it is interesting, and and just the fact that it's a piece of history is interesting that it's in the house, but it's also the fact that we're living in an era where the people who are most affected by something like that back then are the people who are our age. That's maybe even younger than us at that time, 70 years ago. And that's why it's so interesting to see, you read journals or you watch documentaries about that time. And that's why it's so interesting not to even compare it now, because we're all huge pussies compared to what they were doing at that time, right? Like what they actually had to commit themselves to.
Totally.
They didn't just have to commit themselves to staying in their house and watching, documentaries as a friend group, like,
and having constant access to technology, that
knowledge of what's going on in the current now. They are going through complete stress. They're fighting a war for their country.
Right. And at an age group that you don't even necessarily know what you're doing that for. Not that I have any sort of fucking knowledge about.
But circling back, like, would we be talking about these newspapers in this podcast right now if they didn't cover that up with a whiteboard? Probably not. Like, we wouldn't dive into that conversation as much. We wouldn't dive into the lifestyle of the people at the time and try to dig further, because it's something that we as a group have seen, but people that listen to this podcast, people that maybe like come to this house and like do a house tour, whatever it may be, that's like something that we'll highlight and reflect on and have people think about. But like outside of that 30-second interaction,
do you ever think about it generally?
No.
Right. Yeah.
No. So like,
no, you have to be like studying that subject.
Yeah, as frustrating as it could be to see that going up, we've just had a 10-minute conversation, maybe not 10 minutes, but a conversation about, and I'll say it for the fourth time, allies getting pushed back by the Nazis, like a newspaper headline from 80 years ago. So like, there's not always bad in covering up some sort of history, but like the idea of seeking out more of what is there, what the content is, and stirring up the conversation. 80 years from now, what will people do for podcasting, for vlogs, for journals? What will be the thing that gets the conversation going again? We'll have no idea. I'm sure they weren't thinking 80 years ago it's going to be a whiteboard in someone's attic, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like, those are the things that I think about that are like, that's going to be cool. I probably won't be there, but like, just like the hope and optimism that like it won't just be our generation or our 23, 24-year-olds that are thinking about it, but people many, many years from now looking back at it, pulling up a YouTube live video of 5 dudes just that are roommates being like, this is kind of weird. They have a coronavirus trifold in the background. What's that about? Different things like that. So, yeah.
It's incredible that we have an ability to leave a stamp on history. And whether it's a headline, and that's what people may be grasping, right? Like, that's what we keep bringing back, the representation, Allied forces backed by Nazis. We keep mentioning that headline because we see it vibrantly behind our whiteboard that we've shown to every person that's walked into this house.
Yeah.
We can leave a headline. Will people seek headlines? Is that all they want? I don't know. Does it matter? No. But you have an opportunity to leave a stamp, and that's pretty powerful.
It'll probably be like the title of the video.
Or even to just be part of a stamp, right? It's not that you individually leave a stamp. It's that you're a part of a stamp, right?
Right.
Because it's definitely like, there was no individual people mentioned in that stamp. Mm-hmm. But the fact that if you meet a person who is involved with that stamp, you're very interested in them.
Well, that's what I hold the belief, and I think this is pretty widely accepted, is like first person narratives are always like the most important and play the biggest part in history.
Because people want to grasp
right.
a first person narrative.
Yeah, like there's stories, and then there's the story like there's the story of the coronavirus. The big giant story, but then there's
impact.
Andrew and Sarah's experience in the lockdown.
There's Jonah Stillman's experience of having corona at 20 years old.
Yeah.
If we can capture someone who's severely affected by this, whether they're like an elderly, someone that's overcome the situation, like those are the stories that people are going to create.
And also being one of the, just going back to Jonah, being one of the first people to get, there's a different experience that you have as someone who gets it in 4 weeks when, let's say, 30% of people are infected by it. There's a difference between that experience and being Jonah, who is the
21st.
the 21st in Minnesota to get it. That's a completely different experience. Just as it is being just as the experience of like being the first one into anything is different than being the middle one into anything.
Exactly. Yo, how much do you think, how much do you enjoy, I'll ask you this way, how much do you enjoy breaking down these things from a vague standpoint, from a standpoint where we're kind of like going around it from the perspective very outwardly, right? Like that, like people are craving podcasts where their perspective is drawn out, but at the same time you can get lost in like how broad you're describing things. How much do you enjoy doing this?
It's always fun to talk generally about subjects that you're involved in, but it also there's an aspect of it that makes me feel a little bit like weird about talking about things generally, because you know me. If there's one thing that Declan and Andrew know about me is that I hate vagueness. I don't like vague statements, and I don't like being like people making just vague statements about like clickbaity sort of statements,
if you will, touchy-feely,
touchy-feely, and
you're glossing over the surface.
Yes, and you're just doing it to sound like quasi inspirational about any given subject, but and the other and the other part of the guilt comes from the fact that we're 5 people in a room that generally don't know shit about actually what's going on, right? None of us are scientists or work for the CDC, and we're just the only experts we are experts on our own experience. And so that's, if I ever deviate from what I'm in, if we're ever talking about this and I deviate from anything that is just my own experience of it, then just fucking mute it out, because I don't think that that's important to anyone, like who's not if you're not working on the front, like we know a nurse, a friend of ours, Lexi, shout out Lexi,
shout out the front line,
like that and we were in a text group the other day, and she just texted us a couple like little like statistics or experiences that she had about it, and that was like probably the most interesting text I got all week. Right. Because the only thing that I know about is just my bullshit experience of the whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just an average person. Like,
we're all average people, and that's like our contribution.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just average. I'm not working on these front lines. I'm not doing, I work in medical advice, but I'm not doing jack shit to actually fight the COVID or my job isn't to know anything about it. So the only thing that I'm talking about is my experience on it. And so I kind of feel even guilty talking about it sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And that's very valid. And that goes back to what you were talking about, Matt, right? You're going through like the podcasting and the vlogs and the journaling, like that sometimes is an area where people don't want to dive into because they feel like they're not aggressively attacking what they truly want and what they truly should be talking about. They feel like it's something where you're putting on a front, or you might just be scratching the surface, and they're afraid of it. And people don't want to actually podcast or put out messaging because they're truly afraid of being themselves on these platforms.
Yeah, and I'll say too, like a lot of people are like, oh, I'll let somebody else write the narrative. I'll let somebody else tell the story of what's going on. I won't want to have it be a first-person account. I'll just be okay with Rachel down the block telling her story, journaling about it, and maybe she'll hit it big or people will latch on or not. Like I don't want to journal because everyone else will journal. So like it's my opinions, my thoughts, my viewpoints aren't going to be, whether it be as important or different, or we're all going through the same thing. Like,
But we're not.
we're not.
That's
Yeah.
the important thing.
But
Yeah.
that's the important thing. I would much more agree with you than I would with you. Not to say you're wrong, but like, think of, I'll say the diary of Anne Frank, for example. How many diaries of Anne Franks were out there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Only one girl decided to keep a diary, and it got found and got published into a book.
How many different experiences were there that weren't the same experience?
Every single person is a different experience.
Right. And not to say that any of our experiences are anywhere close to that experience, obviously.
No, but I'm just saying.
Even Jenny down the block has a very different experience
Exactly.
in the same situation than we're having. Our experience is pretty much positive up to this point. You know, whenever this podcast gets released, or in weeks after this podcast gets released, there might be, you know, just a caveat. There might be things that are much more serious in terms of this situation. But so far, our experience of this has been generally okay.
Yes. And we're telling our perspective from the story,
Yeah.
and this is all part of our journey. The coolest thing is we have the opportunity to like capture it, and this might not be the defining moment in all 5 of our journey, because there might not be a super significant moment, but we have the opportunity to capture the now and see what we were thinking. And that is the coolest thing. Like 20 years from now, someone will find this and find that golden nugget that they were like, oh shit, these guys had a perspective that I didn't really like realize.
Yeah, everyone died, and these guys were just fucking around.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think like the awareness, or like awareness in general, is so crucial, because if you can be aware in the moment or shortly thereafter, you've got more perspective. Your information is going to be clear. You're going to have a better story to tell, a better perspective to give than looking back 5, 10, 20 years from now, whatever it may be. But having the awareness now and wherewithal to identify, say what you want to say, and move forward at the current moment is going to be light years beyond anything else that anyone else is doing down the road. And that could be 2 weeks. That could be 2 years. I mean, good on the list. But at the end of the day, like, this podcast may not blow up, but somebody else a week from now that hears this may be the one that takes off, that blows up, that finds the awareness through our awareness and perspective to be able to tell what's going on during this quote unquote epidemic.
Right.
Or pandemic. So.
Pandemic. Next subject.
There isn't really a next.
Who's the best bowler in the
Is
house?
the best bowler in the house?
Well, if I'm the most experienced bowler of the house, if we can, but we're also not gonna break out what that means, because that's not a public announcement up to this point. We are Colfax Lanes. We are all professional bowlers in our own sense, right? And but we're not.
Everyone has their own form. Everybody has their own spin, you know.
Everyone has their own spin. Everyone has their own form, and you can take that how you can take that how you take it, you know. But yeah, man. 5 kids drunk in an attic during a pandemic.
And one guy's trying to film the whole thing from
Yeah, Deck.
Trying to.
Deck,
Not actually doing it, but trying to.
Declan, I have a serious question right now.
Yeah.
Why are you so sweaty?
Oh, you're so sweaty.
Dude,
You
you're
are very
dripping
sweaty.
wet.
Oh, man.
Are you on drugs again?
Can you flip the camera your way, please?
Declan,
Flip it.
You're
Deck.
soaking wet right
Deck,
now.
put the camera on yourself, please. Here, this one. Can I do this
It's a
one?
first person cam.
Yeah, there you go. We're gonna put that on Declan Brown right there.
I already have a camera.
It's too dark over there.
Yeah,
Get in the
here,
light.
put it back. I have one on me.
Give
You
him the
got one on you?
light.
You look beautiful though. I just want to
Walk
see
into
if
the light, Deck.
we get you from a couple angles at this point in the podcast,
Yeah.
and
Here's a video of me getting an angle of me.
Yes. Take a picture of yourself taking a picture of yourself.
Of me getting a video of myself getting a video.
Yeah.
I think this is a very fitting moment.
And look how, if you can really see from the camera, I don't know how high def this is. I would guess it's pretty high def. But Declan is incredibly sweaty right now, and I'd like the whole audience to know that. Jack, you brought up a really good point. Declan, what's going on? Why are you so sweaty?
I'm not sweating. I have a lot of angles, but I'm okay.
No,
you're definitely sweating.
You're absolutely sweating.
I'm not sweating.
I can see the sweat on your forehead.
We're absolutely hosting a phenomenal podcast right now.
You're sweating. You're sweating. You have fake glasses on and a mustache. Could you explain yourself?
These are blue light lenses.
They're blue light lenses, aka fake glasses, and everybody fucking knows it, dude.
You wear them
And you wear them all
when
the
you're
time.
not looking at screens.
Declan wears those glasses when he goes out to the bar, and I just want everyone to know that so that he looks smart.
You're established.
I did it one time.
No, you've done it once.
My family wants to know if they can call in.
Nope, not doing that.
Are they a roommate?
There's your
No,
answer,
absolutely not.
family.
Sorry, family.
They'll-
There's
I
just too many
don't-
moving parts
Yeah,
at
it's
this
just
point.
a lot of moving parts.
We've already got 5 in
Hey,
here.
Mac, can
Yeah.
you throw the camera, I would say, 15 degrees to the left?
Oh man, I cannot imagine what Declan's been capturing this whole time, but it's all right.
Right there.
I can't wait for
Yeah,
Monday
just
morning
stop
when he
wasting your
starts tagging me and all this shit on LinkedIn.
Listen,
Yo, can we all say LinkedIn has a voice?
LinkedIn does have a voice, and we should talk about it.
I think Declan uses LinkedIn smarter than anyone.
Probably.
Can I get you guys can I get video content?
Because LinkedIn is constant. Like, if you scroll on LinkedIn, it's all the same bullshit of people, like, sharing either something, an article their company posted, or like something to make them look better professionally, and then it's Declan just being an absolute idiot.
Would you classify him as an idiot?
Yes.
Yeah.
100% I would.
Idiot boy.
Yeah. He's a good kid.
He's a good kid.
Well, he's a genius when it comes to LinkedIn because, like,
Marketing.
he stands out there.
Yeah.
Declan is the most
But
savvy marketer.
Hey, we should also talk about
when
this.
he tags me, I literally want to kill him.
We should talk about this because we've shit on Declan a lot in this podcast. We should talk about his strengths.
His strengths.
Andrew, you want to start it off? I can finish it up.
Yeah,
I think his LinkedIn is phenomenal.
that's a great
I think
start.
that's the smartest thing the Backpocket podcast does. And no, because Declan always posts everything on his personal LinkedIn, which I don't think is smart. You guys should make a Backpocket podcast LinkedIn. Personal opinion. Anyways,
Let's go around the room and talk
I
about
think it's still
what
the smartest
what we
thing
like
you
about
guys
Declan.
do.
what we
Thank you,
think
Jack.
about each person's strengths.
Yes. I love this. Maddie C, would you like to start and vocalize our strengths? Like, what do you think our strengths are?
Yeah,
I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, go person to person. Let's hear it.
Wait,
Okay.
You can start with
podcast or
anyone.
individual?
Individual. You can start with anyone, our strengths, and then you can go through, maybe an area of improvement. This is a good reflecting stage for us.
I'm gonna Declan's strengths. Here's what I have.
Damn.
Oh, those crickets.
That's a soundbite. Yeah.
I love
It's
it.
incredibly disrespectful, and I appreciate it.
I like it.
I
actually love
Okay,
it.
Declan's strengths.
Well, we know where you stand in Matt's eyes, Declan.
Your
Declan's
cricket.
strengths, I would say his determination and grit to pursue whatever he's dedicated towards.
Mm.
Whether that be comedy, podcasting, work, schooling back when we were at university. Anything that he's set his mind to, that's been the priority, and he's done whatever he needs to not just like get by, but excel at it.
That's very complimentary.
And that's something that I've
Valid.
recognized and like want to try to pursue in my life.
Sure.
And that's usually how I look at other people, is like something that I aspire to do more of and want to be more like.
Dude, well said.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
go on to the other people in the room. What do you think about Andrew?
For Andrew,
Hold on, we should popcorn this. So now I should go.
ooh, good call. Okay.
Well,
Yeah, I like that.
All right,
okay.
Deck, you're up. You're up.
We'll popcorn around, but we gotta hit each person.
Right.
No, we should. Everybody gets their love. I think this would be a great time to talk about Jack now that he just ran to the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it.
No, we should wait on him. He's gonna want to hear it.
I'll
Yeah.
fucking around.
All right.
Well, first off, I just want to let you guys know I fucked up on the audio. You guys won't hear my voice, but I'm so glad that I'm not talking. I love that you guys
Well
are
done.
talking. You'll still hear me. It'll be like when you listen to Joe Rogan and Jamie talks and his mic's not on.
And he's
You'll
yelling.
still
Yeah, in the
hear
way
me.
background.
And
Yeah.
I'll be trying to talk and I'll be trying to get my voice in and everyone wants to talk to me.
Wait, so your mic literally isn't on right now?
No, technical difficulties. I don't know what I did or how I did it, but either way, you guys can still hear me. It's not the end of the world. I'm listening to the playback. It's fine. But I will say, Matt Heron,
Yeah.
my favorite thing about you or your strength is your ability to stay so consistent and you have the ability to process a multi-step problem pretty much better than anybody else. Like you are very segmented, oriented, and organized more than anybody else. And like for most people, when they see like a dumb equation, like you see it and you're like, yeah, okay, what's the next step? Most people are like, I give up because it's something that I don't understand. It's impressive to see how much better you've gotten at SolidWorks. No one else listening to this podcast understands what that means.
Most people don't.
Holy fuck, dude! Between you and me, you have become a wizard at SolidWorks, and I'm like, this guy is actually an engineer, and I'm stoked for him. It's fucking sick.
I thank you, dude.
Fucking sick.
Close up.
You're
That's my close up.
Amen to that, brother.
Give me my close up.
Dude, the close-up's zooming in as we
Yeah.
speak.
It's zooming in closer and closer and closer. And there it is. That's me. Hey, everyone.
As you turned off the camera with your heat.
Yeah. With my hate.
Camera got a little too hot.
All right. Who are we going to popcorn next? I'll popcorn. I'll talk about Andrew.
Mm.
All right. Andrew is a different breed of. He claims himself. I think if you ask him, he would claim himself to not be a corporate America guy.
Mm.
You work on the new age of whatever in the new age of industry. You would claim yourself as that.
Mm-hmm, I will.
And you do specifically, but you have every positive aspect of someone of any time they can be successful in corporate America because of like you're a very own person. Like there's one thing that you hear and when you don't hear this until you get to a specific team doing a specific job against other people, but you're incredibly competitive, and it's very beneficial to you, and you should never lose that. Secondly, you're much more technically smart than you give yourself credit for, in terms of like you do the podcast with Declan, who's an engineer, and he knows a lot of technical things. Technically, you're much more proficient than you give yourself credit for. You're very good at things, not just creatively. Obviously, you're good creatively. We see the things you do in terms of marketing for Backpocket, and you do in marketing in terms of your real job. But technically, you're a very smart guy. When you get the correct knowledge and you can actually apply it. And thirdly, I am inspired by your general personality. I think your general personality, like everyone can get into an entry-level job. Everyone can. You learn a skill, you get into an entry-level job. And then you might even, every person probably has the capability to even rise above that entry-level job. But there's a second layer to that, which is a layer of personability that in any single job you work in. You work in industry, you work in insurance with Jack, you work at General Mills with Matt, you work at Par Systems with me, you work in constructions with Declan, and there's a leadership aspect and a personability aspect that you have that would literally benefit you in any single industry that you ever worked in.
Dude, thank you, man.
You're welcome.
That was phenomenal, man.
I love
That fires me up.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're good, dude.
You nailed it, too.
Yeah.
Oh, that brings me to Jack, baby. Jack Baby, thank you for running and refilling the boys. Much appreciated. You did it. You did
Thanks,
an
Jackie.
honorable job throughout that process.
Fuck yeah, Jack.
Hey, I do what I can.
I just want to say to Jack, from someone who got to know you in the last 2 years, I really do appreciate you as a person from the minor interactions we have to start our day, whether I see you in passing and you're just like, hey, have a good day. And you literally take the time to stop, look me in the eye and say, hey, have a good day. To everything from that, from you as a person, living across the hall from something that could be an absolute chaotic position where you're like, all right, middle fingers to these guys, always kind of putting a roadblock in my consistent routine. You have embraced me as a person. You've embraced Backpocket as an entity and a new situation with this house full-heartedly, and just opened up and been yourself. That's the coolest thing that I have been able to see from you. And I'm like stoked to share 9 times on the podcast with you, even though you say you're a wildly average guy and you're like, what do I contribute? Dude, I get to experience that and you get to share that with us. You do have a personality with Backpocket, and that's the coolest thing. Like, we put Jack Baby the influencer on there, and you may look at that as some comedic, low value statement. But in reality, that statement embodies Backpocket more than anything. Like, Jack Baby the influencer really is Backpocket. We want to remain us. You are you throughout whatever you do. We want to remain us. Like, you don't understand what that truly means. And for me personally, when I read that, I'm like, I need to remain humble, remain my personality that Matt was just describing, that gravitates others. Like, that's the same thing that you have. And I'm thankful that you're a roommate, brother. So that's my little 2 cents.
Appreciate it. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right, now we're gonna let's popcorn to shit that we can improve on. All right, we can improve on things. Who wants to popcorn first?
Dude, I'm all in. I'll,
Send it, Dak. Wait, can they still not hear your mic?
they can hear me, so I'll can I oh god, I don't even know. So we're things we can improve on.
Yeah, you got to pick a person out and tell them what they can improve on. And you already committed to it, so
Yeah, no, I know that.
you can also pass.
Declan, my dad said he can't
Maddie C
hear
has
you
one.
Yeah, I know.
6 minutes ago.
Maddie C has one. Let's hear it, Maddie C.
No, I want Declan to go for me. If you can't pick anybody, pick on me.
Oh, okay. Dude, you gotta work on your ideas. We gotta fine tune your ideas. If we're all gonna be involved in a plan together and commit as a house, I need your ideas to be a little more tuned up. We need to understand that none of us. We don't understand. We're not all looking for in-home tattoo places, so we have no idea that we're supposed to do that. But I will say, if you pitch me on an idea that I'm like, okay, I think I can get behind this, then we have momentum, and I just need, you're the ideas man. You're always consistently thinking of a community thing to do, and I need you to dial in the community.
So you want more quality over quantity.
Correct. Give me
Okay.
one idea a week rather than no idea every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We'll get there.
Okay. All right.
Popcorn, Matt. Popcorn. I can't believe we're popcorning.
Popcorn.
Popcorn to which Matt? Maddie C.
I'm gonna go Jack for an improvement. So
There you go, Jack.
boy.
one thing that
Bubble seat. Here we
you'll
go.
you'll see a lot with Jack.
in.
I just want to
is-
wait. Can I just interrupt this? This is for the real podcast fans right now. If you don't know who Jack is, and you don't know who I am, and you don't know who Maddie C is, you know who these two guys are. Obviously, this is a real inside episode, and so I apologize if you don't know who the fuck any of us three are. But It's an inside episode, dude. I don't know what to tell you. We can't get any other guests in here. No one can come through the door.
No one's allowed here.
We're in quarantine, dude. This is the best we could give you. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
All right, back to Jack. I would say for Jack, an improvement, I would say to take a compliment and like run with it. So things that I've seen with Jack recently, and the most recent thing would be our Special K / Scotcheroos bar. Like Jack did most of the processing, most of the baking, most of whatever it took to actually make the product from raw materials to end product. And people loved it. We finished the pan off in less than 24 hours. And rather than taking the compliment and saying thank you, he deflected and put it on to somebody else, which is like awesome. A level of humble ability, is that a word?
Humble ability. It's good.
Sort of.
I take it.
Humble ability to give someone else praise, to work on in those moments, own that, say thank you, and take a quick second to reflect and be like, I did do this, or whatever the compliment may be, and have confidence in that. Because I feel like you know that you do great things, but you don't give yourself credit for doing the great things that you do. So taking the time and moments to take a compliment from somebody else or from yourself will give you the confidence that I know that you can achieve to reach your next level that you're seeking and looking for. Because I know you're looking for that. But it's going to take some sort of self-confidence, self-belief, I did this and I made this happen. Because you make a lot of things happen. You just don't give yourself always the credit for it, which is like that humbleness, that credit to other people. But in those times, give the credit, but also know that you were a part of that as well. And not just a part of it, but a main part of it.
And just to add on to that, you've done that in aspects of your life that we've seen. Like most recently, your workout regimen, right? Like now I think you become confident in your workout regimen. Like if the audience doesn't know, Jack is getting jacked. He made a decision months ago to join a workout program, and he just did it. Period. That's the end of the story. It's I wanted to join a workout program. I joined a workout program. Period. So I just want to see you do that in every aspect. You know, when it comes to your work life, what are you doing? What do you want to do? I want to see a commitment. I want to see an absolute perfect execution like you did in your workout regimen, like you did in your regimen of I'm gonna write a letter. Like the fact that the audience, like, just to throw it out, Jack, you put yourself on to write a letter every single what? Was it every single day or was it every single
I don't
week?
want to say every day. That was the goal, but
every single
most days.
He's been writing personal letters to all his friends, all the people who have influenced him in his life. He went through with it. He's been doing it. Workout regimen, he just decided on it, has been going through with it perfectly. I just want to see that replicated, and that's just a segue onto Matt's comment into every aspect of it, because that's just if you just expel that into every single aspect of your life, that's just sheer successfulness in every single aspect.
No,
Not just
I
straight
appreciate it.
sheer successfulness, but straight sex appeal.
Goddamn right.
Always, hey, that's something that Matty C is absolutely spot on with. You need to be more confident with the ladies, dude. You have...
it's not ladies, it's every regard.
All right, can you just be confident in yourself when you're looking for your future partner? Can I just say that? Can I say that you are a stud and you need to be like...
You need to know you're a stud.
Yeah, you need to know you're a stud.
And it doesn't have to be like, I want to be confident because I want my future partner to know I'm confident. Like,
no, it is.
It's I'm a
it's
confident,
to do with romance.
and someone will pick it up and realize that and be like, oh man, this guy has his shit figured out. He's confident in what he does. I want into that, rather than I'm going to be confident because I want this individual, I want this person, I want blah, 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 blah. Like someone who realizes what you are for truly what you are and want to be will hop on the Jack Baby bandwagon.
And you
And
have
ride it all the way
Yeah,
down.
no, I understand. I understand what you guys are saying, and I appreciate you guys saying that because I've noticed it myself, and
Oh, for sure.
it's definitely an area of improvement, and everything that's drawn out and put out there is definitely like it makes it way more capable of being improved on. you
Sure.
know? So I appreciate it.
All right.
So we'll
All right.
see.
I have my
Pop-
level. I have my
popcorn.
improvement. I have my improvement. That's
What?
for you, Declan.
But we got Jack Baby, the influencer.
Oh yeah,
It's his
Go
popcorn.
Go for it, Jackie.
So what?
So you
How
have
does
to.
this work?
So now you have to pick one of the roommates, say something to improve on, and it can't be just me. You can pick anyone else because I already went, and Declan. So you got Matt or
So Matt, C, and Declan already went, so don't pick them for something to improve on.
Mm-hmm. You got baby
Perfect.
baby Matt or
It was what I was gonna say anyways. Andrew and Matt. Why did neither of you ever turn the lights off? That's all. That's my only improvement on anyone, whether that was the improvement or not. Neither of you guys ever turn your lights off, and it drives me crazy.
In our rooms.
In our room.
Yeah. Or in the laundry room in the basement.
or the house or
And I know it doesn't really make a difference in the world, but the way I see it, and just a general way of thinking, if something doesn't serve a purpose, why do you do it? And that's speaking generally. That's just kind of the way I think. Like, don't do something unless it serves a purpose.
It's just
Unless-
it's
don't-
a thought
don't-
line. It's a way of being as opposed to just a specific thing.
And I would say too, like, if
And
don't
I've-
start a loop unless you intend to finish the loop and move on. Finish the circle before moving on
And
to a new one.
I've just noticed through 2 years of living with you guys that you guys never turn the lights off. And it's not like I'm not like trying to save the world or like trying to like save electricity bills, but it's just like, what purpose are you serving by keeping the lights on? And it just never made any sense to me.
Andrew, do you have a?
I love leaving my own light on in my room.
Well, I know you do because you always leave it on. It's always on.
Oh, I love it, dude. It's like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. All right, so this is
I
all
wa-
inside again to
inside
the
note.
to the inside listeners. This is all to the inside listeners who really love the podcast because this is some inside deets right now.
If you're listening this long, good for you.
Good for you. I want to walk into a room that's lit with lights. It's just like it's a simple feeling when I don't have to like flick on the lights. I'm like at ease. For some reason, I don't get it. I don't fucking know. But I want the light to be on in my room when I walk in there. And when it's dark, it's like this room's not as
It's not ready.
It's
So-
not ready, dude. It's
so do
not
you
where I want it to
so
be.
you thrive in an environment where
I need
there's a spark already have happened, and
know-
you want to just like blossom in that. You want
Oh.
to take the spark and just
I don't need to walk straight to my lamp and turn it on. Like I don't need that. I need to just have it on.
Well, there's a reason the light switch is right next to the door.
I hate my overhead light. I have to walk into my lamp, and it's at a distance where I need to have it on before I walk into my room. And when it's on, I'm moving. I'm going, and I'm ready.
See, I have a different answer to that.
All right.
my answer to it is that I forget.
See, I was just, my like if I forget to turn the light off, it's like laziness.
Listen,
It's not
this is a general issue that I have with my life is that if I think something, if I just generally in my head deem something as less important, it's completely out of the scope of the. And Declan said earlier, I'm a very like regimented person. I have a routine every single day. I'm very regimented when it comes to the things that I deem in my fucking weird mind as to be incredibly important. Those things always get done. And for some reason, little things like little spurts of money, right? Which is keeping the lights on, paying our fucking shitty water bill, which I should.
Every
Yeah.
quarter.
We get
Oh,
a note.
How
from
have we
the-
not
We're like 2 days
canceled
away
that?
from our water getting turned off.
Every single time I pay the water bill, we're 2 days away from getting our water turned off. Things that I think I it's a psychological issue that I need to overcome, where like I deem things as unimportant financially in my head, and they just become things that I not only forget about doing, but actually that I actually like internally refuse to do. You know, like
Refuse.
I totally get what you're saying.
it's
I just debited last year's tax refund
yes
today
yes exactly, like it's little things that
because I was like, oh, I'll do it later. Like it's not important
Yeah,
right now.
I deem in my head as if I categorize it as an unimportant economic influence in my life, then I deem it as like not only do I not care about doing it, I literally want to do it less. Like I choose to not turn the lights off because I've deemed it as such a small economic
Irrelevant.
impact on my life that like I want the light to know that it's fucking relevant in my life. You know what I mean? Like I leave the light on in my room because I go, I don't give a fuck. $2 on the electric bill. I just want my fucking light to know that I don't give a fuck about it. You know what I mean, dude?
So you want to prove yourself superior to the light,
I want to prove myself.
and you
Listen, dude.
like the light being on when you get home.
And also like
And that's why
Two
we
very
need the lights
different
on,
avenues.
yes, dude. And like the Minneapolis water bill, like fuck them, dude. Like turn my fucking water off. I don't give a fuck. Do it, dude.
See what happens.
Oh, you gotta, dude. You can't slap me with a $1 3-month overdue bill and expect me to make a change in my life. I don't give a fuck. I'll pay the $1 bill. Fuck you, state of Minneapolis. And that's not even a state.
City.
I don't give a fuck, dude. If you're gonna fucking pay me, you're gonna give me an overcharge bill of $1 for a 3-month overdue bill. You're threatening to turn off my water bill, but you're only threatening me $1 to fucking pay it. I ain't paying that shit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have the personal philosophy of like it doesn't hurt you at all to turn it off.
You're right. It doesn't.
So
it's a severe
why
psychological.
keep it on?
It's a severe psychological issue that I'm dealing with. It probably stems from my childhood, and I need to address it at some point.
Like I'll be honest. Like some mornings I come down and it's like 5:45 a.m. and I come downstairs in the kitchen and I get my lunch out of my fridge and I'll like see a light shining from the basement and I'll be like, why is the light on?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll just flick.
There's
Sometimes I'll flick
that-
that light on, and I'll just be like, I don't give a fuck about you, light.
like
Stay on if you choose to, bitch.
I don't know. I just like I have the personal philosophy of like if it doesn't serve a purpose,
Yes,
eliminate it.
you're right. No,
Eliminated.
you. I will absolutely agree.
Eliminate it.
I will absolutely agree that you have the correct psychological approach to those issues, and that's an issue that I'm dealing with currently. But I'm not there yet, Andrew. We're not there yet.
We're working on it.
We're working on it, dude. It's a severe issue that we need to deal with.
All right, Andy, moving on. I think you're up. You gotta pick Frat Heron over there.
It's
Who hasn't been
it's
picked?
just me.
Frat Heron over to Deck. Deck's the last one.
All right. I get to pick on Matt.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Send it,
dude.
son.
about time.
Well, you listen to podcasts too loudly, and that pisses me off.
You talking about Matt?
Yeah.
100%.
You listen to podcasts very loudly.
Put your fucking headphones on.
Just put your headphones on, dude.
Walk around the house. Fuck you.
How do you listen to people babbling all day? I don't get it.
I like it as background noise.
Bro, you can listen to babble as background noise more than anyone I know. Oh, fuck that. You listen to
Is this-
babble all day
Is this
long.
is this
Oh, Oh.
Are you gonna
You're
tell
just
me?
like blah, 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 blah. And it's nothing important. I hear it and I'm like irrelevant, and you just have it in your pocket and it's just going and you're just moving, and I'm like, why the fuck is it so loud then?
I like to have the
Why do
background.
you have it turned up so loud?
That's
my
your
critique, dude.
critique of my what I need to improve on.
Yeah, dude.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what I got.
How loudly I play podcasts.
So how do you feel
Dude, you
about it?
blast them.
I don't have great hearing. It's average hearing, maybe below average hearing.
I can chime in too, you know.
I just fucking turned it on, dude. I don't want to fucking wear earphones in. They're fucking uncomfortable. I'm in my own room. I didn't know you guys could fucking hear it.
Everyone.
We can hear it.
Everyone can hear it, dude.
I didn't know you guys could fucking hear it.
Those smokers outside, they can hear it.
Okay, so I'll put fucking headphones in. That's all you had to say. I didn't know you guys could even hear it. It's the first time it's been brought up to me, and I'd like to make it very clear to the fucking audience that that's the first time I've heard about it.
All right, let's be honest though.
I didn't know about it. I was
That-
playing it loudly.
During the week, that's probably the only way that we know that you're home.
Is that if I have a
Is,
podcast?
is there a podcast coming from Matt's room? Oh yeah, he's home.
That's a good
I don't hear
point.
anything. He's probably still at work. I don't want to go up check, but
Yeah.
let me just chime in real quick.
That's a good
Crickets? Oh, he's out of here.
Well, there you go.
Podcast? Matt's home.
So you're welcome.
I only know.
That's how you know where I
only
am.
know you're home if your door is
It's a
closed
10-second podcast.
and there's a podcast blaring.
Yeah. Well,
I know you're not home if your door is open and your closet light is on.
I gotta say, fuck that closet light, because it's been challenging me for fucking years now, and it's been looking me straight in the face. And fuck that. I'll leave the closet light on when I
Hey,
fucking sleep,
hey,
and
at
it's
least-
an annoyance. I
At
don't give a
least you
shit.
have a closet and at least you have a light in it. I'm just gonna say that.
Jack,
Right.
you can't say that, dude.
You can't say it.
You
It's an
can't
attack.
say that
It's
on
an
this
attack.
podcast.
Just gonna say that.
Okay, I'll wear my fucking headphones from now on. God damn it. Pisses me off, though. I want this audience to know it pisses me off, and I'm going to be wearing them from now on.
He's a giver. Everyone remember,
Damn
he's a
it.
giver, dude.
I'm a fucking giver,
You're a giver.
and that's my biggest
Thank you.
weakness.
All right. Pick on Declan now.
All right, this is my Declan. Sit down.
Sit down, dude.
Sit down. Sit down. Point it at yourself and sit down.
Camera on you.
All right, this is my one, and this is we had a couple joke ones, but this is my real.
You think that was a joke?
I don't give a fuck. I'll play a podcast too loud. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna play it twice as loud now. I'll put it on the speaker. Put it on the soundbar. I don't give a. I'm gonna play it a little quieter. I'm gonna put it in my headphones. What are you laughing at, dude? I'm fucking drunk. All
No,
right.
I need to hear you.
This is peak podcast mode.
Declan.
No, hold on. I need to hear you go. Damn it! What's the phrase? Deep.
What?
Hilt.
Hilt deep.
Hilt deep, dude.
All right. That's
Go hilt
that's
deep.
private.
Hilt.
It's private.
Let's just let the man talk.
That's private.
Can I talk
Can I
about
say
Hilt
something?
deep or no? Dude?
Yeah,
I
go
say something quick?
Go, Jack.
Quick.
Quit.
No.
Quit. Go.
I've dreamed about this podcast that we're having for a long time now. I'm like, what's everyone's least favorite part about their roommates? I dreamed about this 2 years ago. I was like, we're gonna do a podcast about this one day.
The fact that you said that I just play my fucking podcast too loud is that I'm fucking killing it as a roommate.
No, and Andrew said that.
I'm killing it. Killing it.
Andrew said that. I said you
Absolute-
always leave your lights on.
All right. Yeah, but that's like a psychological thing. Like, fuck my lights, dude. My lights are always talking shit to me, and you know.
Dude, you have to be superior to your lights.
Yeah, right.
I walk in, the lights know that I own
Yes,
this
they
room,
know.
dude.
This is my room. If they're even on when I'm not in this room, they
I
know
light
that
up the
this is-
lights.
yeah, I'm light. I'm light.
Be the
I
light.
am the
Be
light.
the light.
Everyone knows it.
Be the
Everybody
light.
fucking knows it, dude.
Even
Be
XL Energy
light.
knows that shit, dude.
Yeah, dude. XL
Center
Energy,
Point Gas, they know it.
Fuck XL Energy, dude.
Yeah.
I'll fucking pay. Oh, you're gonna charge me $3 a fucking month for leaving
Yeah.
my light on?
Fuck you.
I'm
Fuck
surprised.
you, dude. I don't give a fuck.
I'm surprised no one said how I never answered their Venmo requests.
You don't actually. We should bring that up. You
Yeah,
never
dude.
answer the Venmo
Why the
request.
fuck
Why
don't
don't
you
you
do
answer?
that?
Because I don't.
Let's hear it.
I
You
don't
say
know
you
how-
don't have your notifications on your phones being weird. You've said that for 2 years.
Because that's sometimes I get a notification and sometimes I don't. I don't know how else to explain it.
That's your only explanation.
That's an,
That's
an
my explanation.
That's your explanation.
Can we all talk about Matt real quick, Matty C?
Yeah, what?
Your dog, dude. Your dog.
We should probably talk about Aurora. We've never talked about Aurora.
Oh my God.
Aurora.
We're not talking about Aurora. We're not doing it. We're
It's
not going there.
2020.
We're not going there.
No, we need to
All
talk
right.
about it. We need to talk about it.
RIP.
Before, wait, can I talk about
Can we
Declan
talk?
first?
Can we say that? No, I just need to say this real quick.
Alright,
We said Aurora.
No.
We'll talk.
Before anything, Matt, before anything here is said, I am the least dog person, not only in the house, maybe in the world.
Andrew might be.
And I had the least amount of problem with Aurora in the house.
Yes. Correct.
I have, first of all, pre-existing medical condition. I have asthma. Aurora shedded like a motherfucker. And it made it very hard to breathe. My eyes were always itching. And I, like, whatever. I was like, whatever. It's nice to have a dog around. You let me go for, I got to go for walks sometimes for Aurora. It was nice. I had, and I mean it, and you guys can probably vouch for me. I had the least amount of problems with Aurora. Yes or no?
All right.
As in, like, personal interaction, or
No.
Just
probably the most as far as personal interaction, as far as like being cool with her in the house. I was
Right.
like, yeah, I don't mind having a dog.
you were also at that point like the new person in the house, which you said a couple weeks ago, like you weren't going to bring up any sort of
grievances.
confrontation because you were the last one in. So
No,
let's be honest there.
There might be an aspect of it.
No, I don't think so.
Right. Well,
I really don't
we'll
think
just
so.
Caveat,
Because I definitely didn't like her.
segueing from that, I'm probably the most dog person
No,
in the house.
I did not like her, and I definitely had a problem with it. But that being said, I was the most comfortable with her.
I didn't mind her jumping on me when I came in the house.
I did.
I didn't mind that. I don't care. I'm a big dog person. I love dogs. It was the pissing and shitting on the back stairs and on my carpet in my room that pissed me off about it. That was the only those are my two grievances. It had nothing to do with coming into the house. I love dogs. When she jumped on me, it was like then I would pet her. That was not a thing that bugged me at all about her. It was purely pissing and shitting.
The feces.
It was purely
They get
pissing and
you
shitting.
all
The
the
fact
time.
that I would wake up to, like maybe like if I left my door open on accident, there'd be shit under my desk or something like that. Those are my only grievances. Was poop and pee. Period. But there were some pretty big grievances because of how often that there was poop and pee. Just being honest.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But in terms of actually her attitude, I'm a huge dog person. I love dogs. I didn't have any issue with her personality. It was the poop and pee. Andrew?
Andy, speed demon over here.
Dude, you're fast.
You're
right?
so fast. You're so fast.
Thanks, boys. Aurora was the
This is the biggest. Oh, here, before you hop in, I'll say she was the biggest challenge of your life.
Worst
Whatever.
dog ever.
That is very well said. I was about to say, Aurora has been one of the worst things in my life.
Yeah, baby.
Go on.
And coming from someone that is not a dog person, that escalated. From the moment that I received a text saying, "Can I ask you a question?" to Aurora living in my house for 2 years.
No.
Did Aurora
about a
live in
year
your
and a
guys'
half.
college house?
Yes.
Yeah, for about 6 months.
Then about a year here, so a year and a half. I don't know, dude. I'm not.
Was she worse here than she was in your college house?
Aurora was a puppy in my college house.
It was very cute.
We also had 2 other people that were like actively like trying to.
There's just different life circumstances.
Yeah.
Puppy
Yeah.
with, a couple roommates that like wanted to like be around a puppy, versus you have like your pre-terrible twos.
Yeah.
I did not like Aurora, and I'm so happy that Aurora's not with us during quarantine, and I'm happy that I get to work from home without having to think of that Aurora could be here.
You could be talking about anything right now, and I'd be laughing because you glasses.
But we all can agree that Aurora stunk.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Matt.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Matt.
those,
I'm so
those,
sorry.
those stinky poos.
It's a lot of poops.
That's just the damn honest truth, brother.
And that's what Declan should have led with. Wait, he did. He
Decky,
messed up.
Where are you going, dude?
No, Andrew, be honest. Andrew hated that dog. Like, there were days I thought Andrew was literally going to kill your dog.
No, you did not,
Andrew
dude.
like chucked the dog across the
I never did that.
No, I
Actually,
definitely
he did
I
it
did that though.
multiple
I never did.
Matt, I'm sorry, but I did. There was one time my parents never come to visit. In the 6 years that I've lived in Minnesota, my parents have been here like twice, and once was for graduation, and once was like last fall, and you guys were all gone for some reason. So I was like, yeah, I definitely have friends and roommates, but no one's here. Side point. But my parents opened the door, and Aurora jumps fucking sky high, and I was so mad. Sorry for being too loud, any listeners. And I grabbed. You had the chest vest on her, and I grabbed her, and I fucking. It was the first time I've seen my parents in like over a year, and she just jumps on him, and my parents have never had a dog, and like they're not used to it, and like she's on my parents' shoulders, and I grab her out of the air, and I fucking threw her. Like I was like, God fucking damn it. That was the only time I've ever like it was like, get out of my way.
She needs it.
Decky?
And now where do we want to segue to?
Wait, I had to yeah.
I want to talk about it real quick, just briefly.
Do you want a mic, or you want to just
Hey,
like continue
Andrew,
to talk in
Andrew.
the background?
Matt C, that being
Just swing
said,
it over
it was
to
a pleasure of my life. I've never had a dog before. You let me take her
it's
for a walk.
for sure going to be like the probably most challenging dog experience you'll have. So like anything in the future you have going forward will hopefully be a little bit easier.
But I also used to step on our poop coming down
Those back
for
stairs.
work in the morning. So
Decky, let's hear it.
All right, so
He's got a mic.
can
He's
everyone
good.
hear me all right?
Yeah.
Everyone?
Check,
Yeah,
check, check,
you
check,
sound
check,
great.
check.
All right, keep it together over there, dude.
Yeah, sorry. Aurora was my first like experience with a dog. And,
Same.
You know, Aurora was a nice dog. Like, face value, like I can see why you would have purchased or wanted to buy in on a dog such as Aurora, just because like it was super fun to hear about, or not hear about, just like to go through the experience of like raising what would be a husky. But like Aurora, I feel like just didn't respond to training. Like she just sucked ass at like knowing where to shit, which is like stage one. That's like day one boot camp. Like if you're a linebacker and you're learning how to play football
nowhere to shit.
and you don't know
How to wrap up.
where the sidelines are,
Yeah. Where are you putting your head?
where are you putting your head?
Where are you putting your head? Are you putting it on the right side or are you putting it on the fucking wrong side?
Right. It's just the most annoying thing of all time when it just like she was like Matt had already said, like she was shitting everywhere, she was jumping on people, she was just ripping into shit. And like I understand there's puppy shit, but there's other times where it's just like, oh my god, come on. And I don't know. I think my me as a positive outlook type guy, I just like Aurora was such a good valley to like appreciate who the Maddie C is now, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you have blossomed into a new person. You're like Jack Burke in
peacock.
2019. Like you're the most improved player. It's the coolest
Yes.
fucking thing of all time.
Rookie of the year.
And like, don't look at most improved player as like you were on JV. It was more so like the fact that like,
Great caveat.
yeah, you.
I was always.
I mean,
on
you
JV.
broke up with your girlfriend, you got rid of your fucking dog, and you had all this free time, and you decided to triple down on yourself and do what you actually want to do.
Goddamn
And
right.
that's the fucking coolest part. You've put in more hours towards what you want to do physically and logged them more than most people. So, I gotta say, Aurora is a blessing and a curse, and something that all five of us can just like raise a glass and be like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
I only got a
Fuck
chance.
Aurora, but also fuck yeah.
I only wait. I was getting G&Ts while we were all praising each other, and I only got a chance to
Hear your own.
to criticize each other, and I jumped in on all the critiques.
Wait, I still have my critique for Declan, by the way.
You've given him plenty.
No, it's a legit critique.
Okay, but I still haven't gotten a chance to
I'd
give.
love to hear it, by the way.
I'm assuming we
All right.
popcorned around.
Yes, we did.
Positives.
Yes,
Can I give a positive?
absolutely.
Matt C. If anyone listening, anyone out there is listening, Matt Christensen has absolutely blossomed as a person.
Mm-hmm. In the last year.
However long since he's been single and hasn't had a dog. And I mean that sincerely, Matt. Like, I didn't know you before those things happened. I didn't know you. I lived with you, but I didn't know you. I didn't see you for weeks at a time, and granted, you had a unique job that
Was taking all
probably
of your time.
made a big influence in that. But I don't think that was the biggest influence.
For sure.
You have absolutely blossomed. You were like a dead flower, and you have become like the size of a sunflower, but much prettier.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
It's
You
definitely
started,
nice to hear because
dude. You started cooking. You started yoga. You started fucking everything.
You made decisions in your life about where you wanted to go.
You started talking to me. Like, I don't know when it was. It was definitely after you became single and got rid of your dog. You like talked to me for the first time, and I was like, I like didn't know how to respond. I was like, Matt C just said something like, "Holy shit!"
he's not mute.
Seriously,
Good.
no, seriously. And I didn't know that, and I'm not. I don't want to like put the blame on either of those two things, but like, it was honestly astounding to me. And I knew you. Out of all the four roommates, I knew you best in college.
Yeah,
Are you
that's
serious?
true. Yeah, we had
For
a
sure.
few classes
Probably.
together. We
Yeah.
had the most interaction for sure.
Yeah,
Out of all of us.
for sure. 110%.
Yeah.
I remember a specific moment that was just awesome, which was you had broken up with I think you were about a week or two.
All right, we're talking. Don't say specific. We're gonna bleep that.
That became single for a week.
Bleep that name. Bleep that name.
Bleep
Andrew.
it.
Mark it. Mark it. Okay.
Anyways, go
Dad.
on.
I've now been 3 minutes onto this podcast,
You've already gotten bleeped.
and I've gotten bleeped and canceled.
All right, go, dude.
Don't name names. Name names.
No,
All right.
you're fine.
Fucking for fuck's sake. But what I was getting at is it was me, Andrew, and you outside, Matt, and we were just like unpacking life, and it talked about like you had broke the news about Aurora, and it just kind of given your like kind of like Trump does with coronavirus, like it's not a big deal, it never was a big deal, but here we are.
It's not.
Let
a
the
big
record
deal.
show. I was Trump before Trump.
It was never. It was never a big deal.
But like, we were like, okay, go on, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like,
And the coolest thing that you said was like, I love hanging out with you guys because like you guys provide a lot of like you guys allow me to just sit back and listen, and I get to watch you guys that either build this podcast or say what you want to say, do what you want to do, and have these things that you execute on all the time. And I'm usually like in the background just watching, and I just know that I really appreciate that. And that was the first time you said something like that where you were upfront and honest about the fact that like you take a back seat to a conversation or you take a back seat to a group, but you're still gathering just as much as information as everybody else. And that's when I realized like, oh, this guy's as much if not more dialed in on what he's doing than the rest of us. And I was like, fuck yeah, here we go. And then that was the start. That was even before you. I think you were probably a couple weeks into yoga, and that's when it just took off. And where you are now, I'm not surprised at all. When everyone's like, yeah, dude, he's been grinding yoga. It's like, yeah, he's been doing that since day one.
it's not about grinding to a specific thing. It's just about grinding to whatever you want. You know what I mean? It's the difference between, oh, he's become really, really good at this specific thing, or these two specific things. Obviously, like quitting Target and joining General Mills and repping it, and that is a big part in your life. But it's also just the fact of committing to it has, whether you're into yoga or you're into fucking running or you're into whatever, makes no difference to us.
You're finally doing what you want.
We don't give a shit. Yes.
Yeah.
We care about what you actually give a shit about, which is whether it's fucking making your own pasta and making pizzas out of it, or fucking doing yoga. I give a shit that it makes me, even if I don't partake in those particular things, it makes me happy to know that you're doing the things at a high level that you actually want to be doing.
Yeah, and I think until the last year or year and a half, most of my life has been trying to, and just growing up in like a small community where your family's so involved in everything that takes on, whether it be community activities, things at the school, you're volunteering in the like social work activities, to in college, like you have to have a reputation for a football team. You have to like be doing these things for other people. Through work, through relationships, you're always taking a backseat. And for me, it was moving forward and taking actions for others so that they can improve. To where like I could like finally like remove myself from a lot of those situations and have the support system, because a lot of people can do those things on their own, but once they're truly on their own, they're on their own. Like for me, I was on my own, but I had my 4 other roommates. I had my guys over in St. Paul. I had my collective group of 15, 20 other people that I don't know what my next step is going to be, but can you guys help me figure it out? Can you guys help move me forward in whatever aspect it may be? Which was the support system I needed in a time where I decided to be an individual for once in my life. So as much praise as there is that you guys have given me, which I've really appreciated, because it's been nice to like see that the work that I've been trying to do so internally, which has been so foreign to me, grow. Give a shout out to all of you guys, because I truly would not have made those leaps of personal growth if I didn't feel comfortable enough to have a support system to either like check me on my shit, guide me in a right way if I'm going down like a path that like would not be good at all, to be like, hey, redirect you and go to a different avenue, but not tell me I have to do this, because if I was told I have to do this, I will 100% latch onto that and go back into like old tendencies. Right. So with you guys being roommates, and as frustrating as it could have been the first year we lived together with like my job, dogs, relationships,
put your
other
dog. Or
other
dog,
things like
yeah.
that. Year 2 coming out of me wanting to be the best version of myself rather than always trying to help other people be the best version of themselves. I need to take care of myself and be the best version of what I can be to help other people be the best version of what they want to be. Like, that's my why. Like, I want Jack, I want Matt, I want Andrew, I want Declan to be the best versions of themselves.
Of course, because
But if I like
love each other.
have burnt that candle out myself, I can't grow that. And so like it allowed me to regrow that candle, to ignite what is truly important to me, whether it's like if I pursue cooking more, great. If I decide like yoga is my like passion project, if I continue to like in my professional career pursue things with whatever company, like great. But knowing that like I have that support system has been more important than pursuing things on my own, if that makes sense.
Right. No, it makes 100%.
That's awesome.
sense.
And I can relate to that totally. And I can see that in yourself, and whether we're live or not right now or not, but like
We're going.
We're live. We've always been live.
all right, whatever. I'm gonna say it anyways. And I hope I've made it clear to each of you. And it's no fault to any of my previous roommates, which I think you guys have all now met, or pretty much 95%.
Yep.
Through my,
No, they've been over here, whatever. Yeah.
Go ahead.
well, not everyone, but from my any time I've ever had a roommate from freshman year of college till now, I think seriously, you four, I've never been most myself. And that's one of my biggest challenges is being most, like, just being comfortable with myself. And I'm so, like, grateful to have the opportunity to just be comfortable with myself. And I think a large part of that is just living with people you've never lived with before who don't know you that well.
Yeah. I think
Playing devil's advocate, but like at the same time, you guys allow me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Even after knowing you for a while,
Right.
I still have that opportunity. When I seriously, I try to think of things every day that I'm grateful for. I tell God each night when I go to bed, I try to pray about things I'm grateful for and tell Him thank you. And you guys are like seriously top of my list every night.
I agree.
And I mean that. Because like I've had such a blast living here. And I honestly mean that.
I agree.
And I'm not just saying that
No.
because we're having this conversation right now. Like, I'm saying that because I say it every day.
Yeah.
I appreciate
And
that, Jackie.
And I'm sorry for not having told you guys that sooner or more often, but I'm 100% mean it.
Yeah.
At least you say it now.
And I would say if you haven't said it directly, like I think we've all felt like your appreciation and your growth.
Well,
and
everyone's appreciation.
Yeah, Jack,
Like-
we've been tracking you, and we're
Well,
like,
this
guy's killing it.
This is the thing about our house. This is the very thing is that, and this is just, you can more broadly maybe expand this to any group of people that you're living with. I think it's very important that you know, at the end of the day, you have your community, which is your household, right? And you have however you interact with the people who are in your household is a very important thing. And we all interact very well. We very rarely fight. We do, you know, sometimes we have some things that, you know, we pick on with each other. Like, you know, Andrew telling us that, you know, when he has to fucking pick the garbage up off the fucking driveway because we didn't take it out for 3 weeks when he was out of town and squirrels got into it. So that's a fight, you know, and that's the fights that we deal with. And, you know, so it's a two-faced thing that you're dealing with, where there's the aspect of how you all interact with each other, but I think more importantly, to the dynamic of the household is how we all interact as individuals. There's a very big sense of individuality in the house. You know what I mean? Where all of us are very very inspired individually, very we're all, relatively type A. Where like you can't really come into it, you just kind of take on the environment of the people that you live with, and the aspect of the fact that we all care about each other, but also all care about so deeply our individual success is a very important thing, right? All of us are very, very, very involved with what we're going to be doing individually on the next day, and individually what we're going to be doing in 1 month, and individually what we're going to be doing in 1 year and 5 years from now and 10 years from now, as well as the fact that how we interact with each other is the fact that how we see our own lives is just as important, because I see every person, you see every person as an individual, and I see how you guys act as individuals, and that's the inspiration that you get even personally.
Right. There's an aspect of like you want to root for your friends, and there's never been, and that's always been a known, right? But there's also like an aspect of like you want to help your friends, and there's like an aspect of that, and you know how far that typically goes. But ultimately, your success and your personal belief in yourself is really what it comes down to.
And it's
like,
contagious.
And it's contagious. That's the thing. The fact that like Matt is so engaged in engineering, and that Matty C loves yoga, and then that propels onto Jack loving something or trying to find that one thing.
Dude, that's the thing.
It's contagious.
It came from Jack, and this is to you. It came from early on, you saying that you were inspired by our personal work ethic, to you revving up your personal work ethic, to us being inspired by your personal work ethic.
It's a recurring cycle.
It's a recurring cycle, and it's to the point where like, you saw our personal work ethic that inspired you to fucking, love what you're doing and choose to do the things that you're doing because you love them. And then, like, the way that we see you commit to it is then re-inspiring to the people who you said originally inspired you to do the things.
Yeah.
And then it's just a reoccurring cycle of fucking success.
Yeah. Going off that, though, I wanted to ask a question to all of you guys. And Andrew is, I think he's thought of a similar thing. But it's just like, first off, I just want to say it's really cool that you guys have come on this podcast now for 2 hours and just like talked genuinely and as if we were talking as roommates, and like you are not really considering the fact of who you're reaching, or like as if you're speaking in front of 1,000 people. Or
a lot of people are bored right now. Fuck it.
Fuck it, right? No,
fuck them.
And I think,
fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck them. Can we all say it again?
Say it.
Fuck them. Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
If you're bored right now,
and you.
If you're bored right now,
say it.
Fuck you.
But I wanted to appreciate, like, just congratulate you guys and just say thank you for that. But the other part of it is like, you guys have been here over 2 years, and we have gone from like barely fitting a podcast studio in the other room to now like building out a whole studio, and like now we're live streaming on YouTube, we're live streaming on TikTok, we're doing this, we're doing that. Like we're just like, we're reaching, like, I don't think you guys know the numbers, but we're reaching a lot of people, and you guys probably don't, we've never told you the numbers, or nor does it really matter, but the whole point is just like, I'm really thankful for you guys to like be vulnerable even though we're growing. And I don't even know if you guys have known the growth, but my question to you guys is just like, what has it been like experiencing the growth, and like what are your guys' perceptions? Because I care about how you guys live and breathe on a day-to-day basis, and I want to obviously make that more efficient for you guys, but I'm so interested on like your guys' perspective on the growth of Backpocket in these last like 2 years, because I don't know, it's not been significant, but it's just been like it's totally changed drastically in the last 2 years.
So I'll jump in first because I was there when you guys were talking about the idea of a podcast and like put it into place and got it going from the ground up. I would say the biggest thing I've seen in two transitions, one from the time you started to the time moving out of the first studio, was you guys were saying like, I don't know what a recording system looks like, to getting the president of a university on, and not just like having questions lined up, but being able to like have a conversation and not be phased, not have any sort of intimidation by like that classification of like president of the university, to jumping into a new studio, a new environment, going from that level to now having bigger name guys on. And I would say hopping on the mics with you guys now versus if I tried hopping on with the mics with you guys episode 2 or 3 back at your first studio, it would have felt more tailored at your first studio. It would have felt more like an interrogation of like, tell me your life story, tell me this, tell me that, where now it's like you guys have been able to morph that into an everyday conversation to where you guys can make your reach what you want it to be through a general conversation of someone 6 feet away from you. Like, you were able to connect with your guests and make them feel like they are truly a guest of your household rather than a guest of a podcast. Where I feel like a lot of podcasts, they come on, they tell their story, how great they are, the successes they've had, where I think a lot of your guests, and just from like the post-interview conversations they've had a blast being able to converse with you two and not, quote unquote, the back pocket. And that's the growth, that's the improvement, that's the progress that I've seen, is like people want to be around you guys, not because you're the Back Pocket podcast, but because you're
Right.
Andrew and Declan.
The growth of the Back Pocket is the growth of Andrew and Declan.
Yeah, you guys don't take identity in the Back Pocket. The Back Pocket takes identity in like who you guys are.
Right.
And that's what I've seen from day one to now. And you guys are going to have a different experience being in this house or from St. Thomas and on, but feel free to elaborate more if you guys have
Just
more to say.
From my perspective, not answering your question, but going off of what Matt just said,
It all answers the question.
it's crazy. I can only imagine the growth that Matt C has seen. But like the growth that I've seen from you guys is exponential. So I couldn't even imagine the growth that he's seen from like nothing.
Yeah.
From the conception. I've seen you guys like from baby to toddler or toddler to infant or infant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've seen you guys like since you've been seen in the world to growing. He's seen you from nothing. And point being, like I've seen you guys grow exponentially in a way that it's like, whoa, there's serious momentum here. And I can tell that. I know I have definitely a bias being a friend of both of yours and having more exposure than anyone to the podcast. But that being said, like it's still crazy to see how much you guys have grown.
Yeah, and I'll say like too, with the conversations that you guys have with people just out in the world that know you as being part of the Back Pocket, the amount of swag, the amount of conversation, the amount of confidence that you guys are able to have and reputability that comes in the conversations that you've had. For example, the event at the Lululemon at the MOA, like those people were coming and seeking you guys out for conversation, and you guys being able to just knock it out of the park versus early stages on, like you guys would really have to like pull favors, pull strings to like get to have conversations with people, because they didn't quite know like what the back pocket was or who Andrew and Declan were. Yeah. But like the conversations you're having with those people at Lululemon now, it would not matter if the back pocket was there or not. But like the amount of credibility, confidence, and I would say swagger that you guys have just walking around day to day in conversation, because you've had so many conversations with different people, have allowed you to have different perspectives, to have different understandings, to talk to Matt in a different way that you're going to talk to Jack in a different way you're going to talk to me, to someone else. Yeah,
how Andrew and I talk to each other.
Yeah. And like who's going to dominate the conversation more in those situations? Is it going to be you? Is it going to be Andrew? Is it going to be whatever? Like, it could be a third party. Like, you guys are able to morph it together in a timely manner that allows you guys to make that connection as soon as possible.
Here's what I'll say about the back pocket. And I think is your guys' biggest success from this point, from your inception to where we are now. This is what I don't think I've told you guys this, but my favorite thing about the back pockets is, so if you just break it down to numbers, the back pocket is Andrew and Declan, right? That's you guys. But that's not what the back pocket is. I have personally I feel like I'm part of the back pocket. I just live with you guys. I'm on a podcast every once in a while. When people, if anyone ever would come up to me and say, you know, the Back Pocket podcast, I say I'm a part of the Back Pocket podcast. And I think a lot of your guys' friends would say the same thing. The fact that it is in essence just you two guys, but it's not at the same time. I think I'm part of the Back Pocket. I think that Yoakum would say that he's part of the Back Pocket. I think that Mark Amick would say that he's part of the Back Pocket. I think that Greg Eboxer would say that he's part of the Back Pocket. I think that a lot of people who are just our friends in general would say that they're part of the Back Pocket. And just be, you know, it's you guys every episode, but it's really not. It's really like I'm so involved with like my hope of your guys' success that I almost involve that success with my own success. Like I feel like I'm part of it. And I think that there's a lot of people, and maybe even people who feel more so about that than me. I think I'm a part of this. I think there's a lot of people who also think they're a part of this. I feel a part of the family that is what you guys have built with the podcast. It's a group of people. It's not just a group of people. It's a group of businesses who also think that they're part of the Back Pocket, right? Yeah. You have friends that you've made through the Back Pocket who feel that their own personal success is involved with the success of the Back Pocket. I mean, just like, not to come back to Yoakum, but like, I think he feels the same way that I'm feeling now. Like, as the success of the Back Pocket grows, I brag about being a part of the Back Pocket. I think I'm a part of it, and I love that. I think that's your guys' biggest success, is the fact that you've not only been able to just build your own brand, but been able to accommodate the fact that we are all part of this thing that we love. Mm-hmm. That we all love this aspect of our friendship, right? We have this big group of people. We have a lot of people in our friend group. A lot of people who have all been a part of the Back Pocket in different ways, and the Back Pocket is just a part of our friend group, right?
I would say a part of the friend group, but also just like a mindset. Like, yes. It's a thing that has gotten so much bigger than Andrew and I, and it's so hard for me personally to go on another podcast and someone says, hey, how did you start the Back Pocket? And it's like, it's been 3 years, but it's been this fucking journey of just so many different things.
Yeah. It's been a million different things.
It's been a million
Since
different
I've lived
things.
with you, it's been a million different
right,
things.
And that's only half the time. And who gives a shit, right? But what you just said, Matt, is exactly what it is. Like, what's in your back pocket is you.
Right.
You are in your back pocket, and Andrew and I working on being self-aware towards ourselves, trying to triple down on that and grow something that's a business built around that is exactly the inspiration that you should have to do the same thing.
Well, it's not even the fact that you inspire me in my like my personal growth as an individual is different than the back pocket.
For sure.
Right? Like my personal
Tangibly,
growth,
yes.
Tangibly, my growth as an engineer is completely different than the back pocket, but I get happy when you guys book big guests. I get happy when you have good interviews. I feel like I can brag to my family about how well you're doing. You know what I mean? Because I'm a part of it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not a part of it, I'm a part of it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You especially because, like, and you, Jack, and Maddie C, like, you guys are all a part of it because you physically fucking live with us.
But Mark, if Mark was sitting in the same spot, or Greg was sitting in the same spot, or Steve was sitting in the same spot,
Or
I think
anybody
that
listens to us
or
a
any
lot.
of our, or
Yeah.
not even anybody that listens to you a lot, any of our friends,
But could there be someone who listens a lot who's like, yeah, I'm on their fucking side.
any of our community,
Yeah.
which is our friend group, could be sitting in this spot saying that I represent myself in some essence as a part of the back pocket.
Well, not to downplay it to people we know, but people that listen to your podcast, I would say that's true for.
Yeah.
And I to echo everything that he just said, I think what he just said about your podcast is as true as anything that has ever been said about your podcast. Seriously. Coming from every perspective. Coming from the most positive to the most negative perspective of the Backpocket podcast. Because I've seen, as a outsider of it in college, and then an insider of it, but still getting the outsider perspective of people like making fun of it and whatnot. I think everything he just said is very true. And everyone who's been involved with it feels like it's their own.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say their own, but I
No,
feel
but
like they're a part of the success.
Right. The fact that it, like, the success of me and Andrew physically doing what we're doing is shared amongst people who just listen to us speaks volumes and, like, just makes me excited. Because, like, if I win and if it's a model where I win and you also feel like you win or you actually win, then I've won as a person because I'm now sharing my wins with others.
Yeah, and I think the coolest part about what you guys are doing is, like, there's no necessarily rhyme or reason to it, but you're highlighting successes of what you guys call ordinary average people.
Right. It's a
You're-
caveat.
You're highlighting me and you. You're showing the everyday average Joe that they're not everyday average people. Even though they are, they're capable of extraordinary things, right?
Yeah.
You guys have a cool ability to do that.
Right.
Because if you get the right person, the right guest on your show, we all have so much in common, right? Like, we all are people with lives and stresses and ups and downs. But we're all doing unique things. We're not spending all of our time in the same ways.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are spending their times in ways that inspire other people. And the fact that you guys are, like, recording it and
Document.
putting it out there to the world is inspiring other people to be like, oh, that person might not be doing what I'm good at or what I'm passionate about, but it makes me want to do what I'm good at and what I'm passionate about.
Which leads me to my popcorn Declan. What you need to improve on. You need to be more specific. You are in a lot of different categories. I've said this to you before off air, and I'm going to say it to you again on air. There is a way to do multiple different categories more specifically. Don't be general. Don't be vague. If you're going to be in different avenues, commit to different avenues and commit to them specifically. Don't just hover around in the space. Don't just hover around in the podcast era. Don't just hover around like I'm just, I don't like the vagueness. I like specific action for like specific goals. And you can do that. You're very good at that. You're a goal and you're a results oriented person. You claim to be process oriented. You're not. You're a very results oriented person. Just be specific in every category because you're in multiple categories. You're in much more categories than I am. Andrew, you too. You're in much more categories than I am. I'm in one category. I'm very fucking good at that category.
What's your category?
Automation engineering.
Very
fucking good at it. He's so good. Very good at it. But you two are very good at the things you do. I think Andrew's more specific than you are. I think he's more oriented towards one goal than you are in whatever category, X category. I want you to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's a problem that I see in my own life, and it's like a problem that I see when I interview other people. It's like one of the main problems is like I'm just involved in too many things.
Well, dude, you're trying to run a business with two people, and a business is more than a 2-person job.
Yeah. Not to mention like my own job that pays me.
Exactly.
Not to mention
So I don't think that's
comedy,
I
not
don't
to mention,
No, but
I'm
you can do all those things. You're very capable of doing all those things. You are. You're very capable of doing all those things successfully. Just don't do them. There's a difference between and it's even a difference between doing them halfway and doing them full. You could even be doing them at full effort, but still doing them vaguely.
Yeah.
I want you to if you're gonna be in a specific sect of life, so like you do stand-up comedy, you do podcasting, and you do engineering, get a goal for each one and fucking drive towards it, as opposed to just living in that specific sector and just surviving in that specific sector. Because you can be successful in all those sectors.
Yeah.
We've seen that. You're very good. You're a very good engineer. You're a great stand-up comic, and you're a great podcaster. Building to be better. Don't just live in those areas. Have specific. If you're going to be in an area, have a goal for it, and strive towards it and achieve it.
And I would say to fine tune that in the example of, let's just say, comedy, instead of setting something up for 1 minute, try to make it specific to get there in 15 seconds, because that frees up 45 seconds or 3/4 of your time to be able to do more within comedy, or to do more with the time that you took to ask a question in a podcast or in your workday life, rather than trying to drag something out and to get to your point, narrow down, know what you want to say it, and then you have X amount more time to be able to dive deeper into that conversation, or you have that much more time and opportunity to plug other things and to pursue other things. Because when you are pursuing 3 or 4 or multiple things at the same time, there's only so much time that you have in a day. Yeah. And if you're only getting 5-6 hours of sleep, could you condense down all of those tiny little interactions rather than extending them out? Because you know what you want to say. It's just that you pull them out. Can you be specific?
But also, like, I can't give you any advice on podcasting and comedy because you have more experience. Both of you have more experience in those than me. I'm not going to try to fucking give you any hints on how to be a better podcaster. I don't fucking know. What I do know is what I want to ask you is, what are your goals in engineering?
Yeah. No, that's it.
Because are you just living in engineering, or do you have a goal in engineering?
I'm just thankful for engineering, and like I know that, you know,
We could also cut this, so you
No,
know.
I know. And there's a point in me, or there's a part of me that feels and kind of looks ahead and says, you know, engineering's probably not a part of my future by the time.
But that's a goal.
30.
But that's a goal. That's
Yeah.
fine, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
If that's your goal, right? So if you have a goal of I'm just gonna be in engineering, and I'm gonna use that as a means of my just general survival until I get these other goals going. That's still a goal. That's an end goal for engineering,
Yeah.
and I could totally fucking accept that, 100%, 100%. I'll accept that totally, but like just have the goals in every single aspect, because you're in a lot of aspects. You're in more aspects than any of us. You're in more issues of life than any of us. Just have an end goal for all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think it's been something that I've combated in my own head for, you know, quite some time, and it's so obvious to me that comedy and podcasting are like the way of the future for me.
Yeah.
I just genuinely love doing those things more than I love doing what I'm doing as my day job. But what I am so fascinated about, and what like gives me my edge, is the fact that I have an engineering experience and an approach to the quote unquote like marketing and the things that I'm doing currently.
And a need.
And I'm just finding, and Andrew kind of can see this in me probably, is the fact that like I just genuinely love to problem solve, and when I can put myself in situations where it's a unique opportunity, something that no one else has done, and I can figure out a way to actually do it, then we won, and we have an impact that's from that. We can market that, then we can scale it, grow, and then kind of use it as like a step on your way to like level 1 to level 2.
What do they teach in engineering school? They're not teaching fucking equations. They're teaching critical problem solving.
That's what I'm doing, and the things that like I'm most fascinated about, which is like, how do you impact and scale something that's to me important? The idea that you become famous, you become big, you become this extraordinary thing through commitment and hard work and genuine love for what you want to do, but like what you're doing as a 22, 23 mature, you know, 20-year-old is so crucial to like finding that. Granted, I'm only 24, but like I genuinely believe like if I can help and inspire other people to do those things, like we have a better society. And I don't even really, and like that whole statement, like I don't give a fuck about, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I just genuinely like when someone hits me up and says, "Hey, Declan, I really like what you're doing," and I say, "Hey, cool, hop along for the ride," or "Hey, do this, hey, do that," and they do it, and then it works. Like, I get so much genuine happiness from the give back, and like the idea that like Andrew's been able to triple down on something that we've built through the podcast and have a full-time job, and Jack Burke living with us and being in this Backpocket culture has been something that I've been super stoked about. And just me asking that simple question of like, how have you guys handled the evolution of what we're doing? Like, I genuinely enjoy that, and I think you guys see that at a core basis, and probably get annoyed with it, right? Like when I record something.
No, it's not annoyed. It's not an annoyed thing, and even me, who's like
the fuck you Matt hair model.
Yeah, the fuck you Matt hair model, which is the Backpocket model. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've heard from my fucking CTO, who I sit next to, and I have a good relationship with. How many times he's given me shit, and he goes, I know your roommates have a podcast. Like, oh, like so many times, like they crack the joke, like, oh, we get it, your roommates have a podcast. How many times I've brought that up, like, oh, my roommates have a podcast, and I explained the thing that happened on there. I can't tell you, like, even me, and who, you know, the thralls of corporate America, are like I'm still repping you guys. I still have that pride about Backpocket.
And it's not because you. Well, I don't want to fill in sentences, but going back to what you're saying, it was just like it's really cool to hear the fact that you share the wins.
It has nothing to do with my progression as an individual.
But it kind of does because you're just like, I'm friends with these guys.
No,
and
no,
I love that
but
I'm having.
yes. Let me be very clear. Your success has nothing to do with how I am going to progress in my
Yeah.
life.
That's the thing.
It has nothing to do with it, but I still love it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a like. In terms of like, how if you guys blow up and become fucking huge famous, that's not gonna benefit me in my career goals, and I don't expect it to.
It'll probably annoy you if anything.
No, it won't. It'll make me extremely happy, and it'll make me extremely prideful in my legitimate life.
But it won't help you at all.
But it won't help me. But
it will make you way happier.
But it will make me way happier. It'll make me very happy. And it'll make me even more braggadocious about the fact that my roommates are podcasters, which I already am. So, like, my happiness about your guys' success has nothing to do with my own personal success in my job, which is going very well. Very well.
Very well. Hey, you're absolutely
It's going really well.
grand slamming, to be honest. But it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know.
I would agree with everything that Matt Herron has said and Matt Christensen has said, but everything that Matt Herron has said. And I never really got a chance to answer your question, like what it's like
Yeah, I'd love to
to be on the sidelines. And what the last thing he just said, I'm happy I'm answering it right now because that's very true. Your guys' success, when you boil it down to everything, like has nothing to do with my own personal success. But that being said, like I'm still going to benefit off of your success in the sense that it will make me happier because I care about you guys being successful. If that makes any sense.
Oh, it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, no, totally. I think it's the same thing that I feel when you guys have success. When
Right.
Matt comes and tells me like he got a promotion, or like Jack Burke went on a bike ride and he's just fucking jazzed about him. Like I genuinely love seeing you guys grow every day to the same degree.
Appreciate it. Appreciate that my bike rides are the highlight.
That's really what it
Just
comes
goes
down
to show you how shitty my life is.
No, I don't.
Shut
I
up,
don't,
Jack.
I don't think
not
anybody's
what we're
life
saying.
is shitty necessarily, but it's just like, it's just so interesting. Like, dude, we fucking grand slam anything that has come through us.
Yeah.
Like, we are such a very like go lucky, go happy group of dudes who have made the most out of every situation, and I am just like, it is so fun to like be at work around a bunch of other people who don't have what I have, and me explain that I live with 4 other guys where these are the things we do. It is Friday and we have a barber coming over and he's cutting all of our hair, and we're just gonna drink beers and listen to music and like talk with this guy and make his fucking day, and he makes ours, and he moves on and we move on, and we like, that's just what we do. And it's just, we do that over and over and over, and I tell and I share those things, and people are like, dude, you live the fucking life. And it's like, thank you for saying that, but
it doesn't even feel like that.
It doesn't.
It feels like
feels like life.
That's the best part about this. Honestly, as a bystander, as a roommate, that's the best part about this. Is I benefit off of your guys' value, or off of your guys' whatever you want. Yeah, you got to, not that I couldn't have gotten a free week at Alter, but I would have never been exposed to a free week at Alter if it weren't for the Backpocket podcast.
Or inspired to do a free week of Alter.
Paul, probably, I would have just been another customer of Paul if you guys didn't have a T-shirt on the wall.
that was fascinating, right? Him talking about how many times he explains the podcast. I was like,
Yeah.
you and I need to be sitting down. You of all people, we need to be sitting down for us to help you explain like what we are.
It's just
But
things,
I just love that
like,
he genuinely describes it.
it's things like that are really cool. Like, it's in all honesty, it's really annoying trying to explain what the back pocket is because
It's difficult. It's a very
because you
difficult.
guys can't explain it, and it's not any fault of your own. But it's like until there's a good answer, I'm not like as someone who doesn't even listen to the podcast, I'm not gonna have a good answer.
No, and I
And-
no one has a good answer.
And to answer your question, because I still haven't answered your question of what it's like I've told you all the positives, and not to be Debbie Downer over here, but like I still haven't said any of the negatives. I'm the most I'm your biggest fan. I want that to be known. I'm your biggest fan. Seriously, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It makes me, going back to what Matt Herron said, it makes me happier than anyone to see you guys have success. It's been so fun for me. Seriously, so fun for me to watch you guys grow. And just to be I'm your roommate. I have no part of it. It's been so fun for me to watch you guys grow. But then to answer your question on the other side of it is what's it like to be the roommate of
yeah.
the Backpocket podcast?
Yeah, let's hear it.
For me, the one downside of it, the only downside of it, I jokingly said earlier about not being able to sleep. Whatever, who cares? Anyone can get one night of bad sleep. For me, the only downside of it is when you guys are outside of the podcast, when you're not podcasting, or when you're not up here on the third floor, when you're in the kitchen, and I've had a long day at work, and this might be selfishness out of me, but it seems to me, and I'm sure and I totally understand it. If you want to be successful, you have to do this, but it's all you guys talk about.
Yeah.
Which makes total sense, and I get that, and I'm not saying that out of a complaining attitude,
I can understand it, though.
but it's just
I could see why that would be God, all they talk about is their stupid fucking podcast.
it gets annoying after a while,
I could see my own self saying that multiple
I can
times.
see Bill Gates' old roommate being fuck Microsoft.
All this fucking guy talks about is starting a fucking software company.
Yeah,
Fucking
you know what I mean?
idiot.
And
What a fucking idiot.
A fucking moron. It's so annoying.
And
It's so annoying.
please let me go against myself and be the first person to say that you will never be successful if it's not everything you think about and talk about. So don't let me discourage you in what manner whatsoever, because I'm your biggest fan and I want you guys to be successful and I want you guys to do it.
Yeah.
So don't let me saying this discourage you. Keep doing it, because that's what's going to keep you driving and keeping you successful, but it's fucking annoying sometimes.
Right. No, you're acting you're acting very cautious with what you're saying there, because you're
I
oh my
don't
God,
wanna
if
say-
I say something wrong, Declan's going to take it the wrong way and stop the podcast. I won't.
But I'm also going to add on to that and to say that Andrew's better at it than you are.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
No,
all I
just
think about.
keep doing what you're doing. I'm just saying.
Of course.
To answer, I still haven't answered your question from probably an hour ago. What's it like being the roommate of the podcast? That's the
You
only.
described it better than anybody.
That's the
You
only thing
opened
for me.
us for
No, Matt Herron described it awesomely, and I feed off of you guys' success, and every one of your listeners and guests that's ever been on is fed off of your success. But the thing that those people don't see is on a Tuesday night when we're just trying to hang out and have a good time, you guys are what the fuck are we going to talk about on Thursday, or something that I don't give a fuck about. You know what I mean?
At
you
that
guys are-
ultimately you do give a fuck about, but at the moment you don't give a fuck about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
At the-
I just
the
want
last
to
thing.
talk about normal shit, and you guys can think about. Like, I'll just be standing. I'll literally be standing. Literally, like, be standing between you guys. And I just, like, my dog just died. Or, like, that's a made-up scenario. But, like, something that's a really big deal to me is just, like, irrelevant to you guys. Because, like, your podcast is the center of your minds. And it's the only thing you guys ever think about.
So true.
That's the only... that, literally, I said this earlier. Jokingly, like... I'll stay up at night or whatever. It doesn't matter. The thing that bothers me, if anything, is like sometimes you guys have a hard time keeping your minds off of your podcast. Which, like I just said a minute ago, don't let that discourage you. Keep doing it. It just bothers me sometimes.
Yeah, no, get it, dude.
It's a roommate podcast.
Totally fucking get it, dude. I totally get it.
And I gotta
Here's
pee.
Here's the thing, man. It's not that big of a deal.
I gotta pee though.
No, I get it, dude. Go to the bathroom.
And I would say on a
Maddie C, wrap us up.
the last question I think we should end on is one that is very relevant during this time period. For 60% of the household that has never aspired to grow out a beard, what's going through your head right now as you commit to growing out some facial hair? And what emotions, what thoughts are going through your head? You have 120 seconds, Matt Herron, go.
All right, just to start it out, the three that he was talking about is me, probably Declan, and Jack Burke. Never tried to grow out our beard. There's a lot of uncertainty, but no more fear because the fact that we're fucking quarantined,
Right.
and I can grow this beard and not feel attacked by anyone because I don't give a shit about what you guys feel. I don't give a shit. So I don't know. It's I've started it out and it's not going great so far, but
You got time.
I got time.
It's a process. It's a marathon. All right.
Dak, are you gonna grow out your
Dak,
beard or are you just
2
gonna
minutes,
grow out
go.
that mustache?
Stash all the way. I mean, I've never been more obvious about it. I mean, I literally just got a haircut today, and now all of a sudden I have a mullet. So, it's fun. We're here. We're now.
We're doing the damn thing.
We're doing the damn thing. It's like even when it grows out, it's just gonna look normal, and I'm just gonna be working quarantine. I'm an essential employee all of a sudden as well. Not to brag, but that's
I got
what
my
am.
letter today. Essential.
Got my letter.
Wait,
I'm
who's got their
essential.
letter? Who's got their letter?
Got my letter?
Who's got their
got
letter?
my letter.
Is that just Declan and I who's got the letter?
What's the letter about?
I got my letter.
Being
Being
gay.
essential.
Essential employees.
Yeah, we have to go to work to do the work.
I have to go, and I don't have to go to work to do the
All
work.
right.
Piss
3,
excellence.
2, 1. Jack Burke.
Still got
You
the
have 2
letter.
minutes to talk about
Your facial hair. and your
what
facial
is
hair
your
aspirations.
emotion, thoughts going through your head about growing a beard out for the first time in a long time, if ever. Go.
I don't really have any emotion
Okay.
about it. I've had a lot of thought, no emotion. The thought is I can't grow a beard. It's a little embarrassing. I guess that's an emotion, embarrassment. Although I'm really not that embarrassed because no one sees me.
Yeah, there you go.
So I take that back. Still lots of thought. And the only thought or reaction there is what you see in the mirror. And pretty non-substantial. Does that
There it is.
answer your question?
It's whatever answer you want.
Good
to
way to end it out.
I all I have to say is like I play with it a lot. I can't. Number one, COVID-19. Don't touch your face. Look at me. It's all I can do these days.
Well, that's because
Just don't touch your eyes. It's a big thing.
Oh yeah.
Keep it south of the
I
cheek
have-
line. You're good.
I have allergies. Look at me.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, do you guys feel the same way? But like, I think the three of you guys and like what we live in is the funniest thing of all time. Like,
mean?
I laugh so hard at the things and the jokes that we come up with. I think the things that we come up with and the things we actually do are so funny.
That's me.
I don't think it's funny. I think it's awesome.
You're welcome.
Awesome and funny.
You're
It's
welcome.
awesome. It's funny. It's unique, and it's us, man. It's us. Like
I think
the
it's
fact that we have a
fun,
barber
not
come over,
funny. Yeah.
and that like none of us are just like, ha 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 ha. Let's get a barber to come over. But like, yeah, great idea. Like no one else is thinking of this. Like, bring him on over,
Yeah,
or
like, I
a
Skyped
podcast at night, or anything else that we do. It's just like the originality that we have as a group to be us, to not give a crap.
Versatile.
Yeah, I seriously think I'm gonna look. I've thought about this, and like it's a.
I need you to journal about
I
it.
don't know if it's a
By the way,
good thing or bad thing of mine, but like I think very morbidly.
Malachi, do you also think morbidly? Are you a morbid thinker?
In general?
Yeah, you just heard what Jack Baby said. I don't know, like, is that a fair thing to say?
You know, I am in a state of constant denial.
Yep.
But it's a different state of denial than I think is fair to say. I'm in a state of denial that I know is denial, which is a difference, right?
Right.
I go, I'm going to choose to deny this thing. I'm very self-aware about my denial. And it's just, you know, I don't watch the news ever, either side. Some people go, oh, I'm going to watch a little bit of Fox News. I'm going to watch a little bit of CNN. I'm going to find myself in the middle. I go, I'm not going to watch either one of them. I'm just going to chill out.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Not that that was irrelevant, but
It was a little, yeah.
Jack just went like this verbally. He coughed on what you just said.
Yeah.
to what I was trying to say that was irrelevant. I
didn't hear what Jack said, by the way. I was texting. I just want that to be known. I wasn't playing off what he said.
All right.
I was texting and I didn't hear what he said.
But you still went.
And I just went with
That's
it.
all right. Jack,
Yeah.
what do you got, man?
forgot.
All right.
All right, let's end this shit, dude.
And
Fuck
that's
that.
a
I'm
wrap.
fucking sick of
Good
this.
shit, boys. Love you, boys.
Roommate podcast part 1.
Part 1.
Elfin.
Fuck. Part
Love you
over.
guys.
When's part 2?
Love you guys.
Never.
2 years.
Love you guys. Love you guys. Love you guys.